Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Bourbon Neophyte. I hope your evening is well or morning as well, depending upon where you are. Uh, Tonight, there's no real specific agenda. There is no particular bottles that I'm going to pop or anything like that. Tonight, it's just going to be sitting back, chatting, talking about whiskey, talking about just different things, and particularly the three S's. Just simply sipping scotch tonight. That's what I'm going to be doing. I got a bottle sitting here. I'm going to open that up and I'm going to pour a little drop of that. And we're just going to sit here and chat away. So let me say, everybody's heard of a little distillery called Storytime, right? And you all are aware of basically why that started because the person, and we all know who that is, Shane, believes that whiskey is to be shared. And those experiences, when you share that whiskey, create memories, specifically over a certain bottle or specific pours, because next time you have that, you think about this specific point in time or whatever. So today, I got a I went and met somebody that I've known for a little while because of YouTube. And so yesterday I get a text from Top Dog, and he's like, "Hey, let's meet up and sit, chat, have a pour, eat, whatever." So I was like, "Hey, yeah, let's go." So I loathe the strip, and that's no, I don't hide that. However, he said, "Hey, let's go to Cosmo and let's meet up there." So, wife and I went down today, and I actually met him. And truthfully, genuinely, a very good person, John and his wife Renee. Absolutely great bunch of people. So we're sitting at the little bar there in the Cosmo Vespers, just right off the lobby. Anyway, I'm talking to John. We met, and that's the first time we met face to face. We have talked and other things because, of YouTube and all. And I'm sitting there, and he has a pour down there, and my wife's talking, he's talking, his wife's talking, the normal stuff. And we haven't gotten a drink or anything like that, but John has had one, and I'm looking over at the bar, and of course, I'm seeing what they got, and I'm like, oh, they got this, they got that. But one thing in particular struck my eye. However, prior to that little me seeing this particular bottle, and I'll tell you what it is in a moment, I could smell what John had in his glass. And I'm like, I know that from somewhere. But anyway, I spy this bottle up there, and it's Wild Turkey Decades. I have never had it. But the aroma from John's glass was coming out. And I mean, he's not far from me. I mean, within my arm's length away, and it's sitting there on the bar. So he's like, "Hey, what do you want?" or whatever. And I'm looking up there. I said, "Well, I just noticed they have Decades." And somehow he said, "Well, that's what's in my glass." So I had a pour of the Wild Turkey uh, Decades. Never tasted it, whatever. And when I've seen the bottles here, would love to have one, but they are just stupid expensive for that thing. But anyway, I had a pour of that with him, and it was as good as I was told. But what truly made it was not only the pour, but the people I got to share it with. Just being there with John and his wife, with my wife, and having a conversation. And he and I just chatting like we had never missed a beat, as in, like, we have been friends forever and a day. But literally, that was the first time we were in arm's reach of each other since this. And truly an amazing couple. Uh, I thank him and his wife for their generosity, their hospitality. Uh, it was truly a great experience and a great time and a great pour that we shared there. And the conversation was just, I'm telling you, it was like we had never missed a beat. And so many times that I have gotten to meet fellow people from YouTube face to face for the first time, literally, live in person. And it was like when we got together, like we're doing right now, just chatting, just talking, sharing a pour, general conversation like we have always known each other. We have met many times before. But I am a firm believer in what story time has put out there about whiskey and the stories that it creates and the memories that come on from those things. And that's something that I'm going to remember. And I'm going to tell this story, time and time again. The first time I had Wild Turkey Decades. And when I say it was just amazing, it truly was amazing. Of course, then we go and eat. And what's funny is John, he says, "Oh, hey, bring me the whiskey list." So they bring out this card, and and I mean, we asked for everything from A to Z. I mean, they're Stag, Bookers, whatever. Every time we asked for something, it was, "Oh, we don't have it. Oh, we don't have it. Oh, we don't have it. Oh, we don't have it." So John's like, "Well, let's go up and take a look." So we go up to the bar, and he immediately spies something, a Maker's, and I'm laughing because like, "Oh my God, they got a shitload of Basil Hayden," and I go, "Oh, that's not real whiskey." And I apologize to any of you that do drink Basil Hayden, and that's fine if you do. It's just not my cup of tea because it's just too low proof. But anyway, he spies, and I just want to get it right because we took a picture of it. He spied a Maker's Mark Private Select, okay, at 110 proof because I took a picture of it so I would remember, 55.25 ABV. So of course John says, two of those, and had them brought to the table. Of course, and then the bartender says, "You want ice in that?" We're both like, "Ice, please, please, just show it to the ice bin and pass it over there. That's as cool as we want the whiskey." So they bring it back over there. Of course, more conversations going on or whatever. We have enjoyed that pour. And one thing I thought about that particular pour, and believe it or not, and I have Makers sitting right over here. So it was the first time I had Wild Turkey Decades. It was the first time I tasted a Maker's Mark Select, Private Select, first time. And I will say this, it was good. I want to say it didn't cause, my toes to wiggle and my foot to tap. And it drank a little on the hot side. Doesn't mean it was terrible, or anything like that. And it wasn't like it was a fresh bottle or anything like that. No, it wasn't anything like that at all. But the conversation, even just over that between he and I, his wife, my wife and his wife or whatever, it was just a wonderful afternoon of just sitting back and talking. And so on the way home, I thought, you know what I want tonight for the stream? Just that. I want that connection again with everybody here in chat. And I know there's a lot of people, and I didn't even get to chat or whatever like that. And so I apologize. But you know what, people? I'm not going to scroll down and do all this stuff through chat, but I just want to say thank you. Thank you to the subscribers. Thank you to those of you that are in chat right now. And do me a favor, as a reminder, smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Support the channel. But I enjoy this conversation that we have Whether you're drinking whiskey, having a beer, a glass of wine, or a cup of coffee, it makes no difference. But the experiences that we have, the relationships that we have, the conversations that we have specifically in chat, I mean, on this phone too. I mean, I get texts all the time about this and about that. I truly think it's great. This community is tremendous, and I'm not the only one that says that. But there are people within this community that has helped me not only grow this channel, but whoever thought I'd have, what is it? I don't even know what I have. I think 282, 83 subs. I never expected to get that. But because of other channels like Livewire Whiskey, okay, Whiskey Encore, Whiskey Knows, Whiskey Wars. I mean, I could go on. Whiskey Mountains, Bourbon Battalion, Bad Axe Bourbon. I mean, the people that just give me a shout out, Scotch Down Under. Everybody knows Ken. And funny story on that, not to jump on the side, but Saturday, his pub was totally screwed up because we've all done it. Have to do that stupid update. You update something on the computer and it causes nothing but problems. So, I mean, show you that we are loyal whiskey tubers and followers of Ken's channel. Ken's really not on there. He knows we're there because he'll respond every now and then to chat, but nothing's going on. I mean, nothing. We can only imagine the explicitives coming out of Ken's mouth as he's trying to piece his stream back together, literally. Because if anybody knows Ken's stream, he has a lot of things going on. He has different things for us to do besides gambling and different video clips and things that we can pop up there or whatever. Okay. Well, do you know at the peak, I saw that there were 30 people watching nothing. But guess what the biggest thing was? We were all chatting in chat with each other, regardless of what was on this picture that's in front of me. I'm staring at myself right now, but regardless of that. But we were carrying on conversations from anything from soup to Zantac. It didn't make a difference. Like Ken was there, like we do every other stream. Isn't that amazing? There was absolutely no live content on there. So I'm putting in there, hey, smash that like button, smash that like button. So when I talked to Ken this morning, because I didn't realize he was streaming and I didn't check anything when I got up this morning, he had over 300 views of nothing. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Over 300 views. And he wasn't on live. And we're just in chat. I was there for maybe 2 hours, just back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. I mean, it was amazing. But this community as a whole is amazing. It's truly amazing. I just seen Bill popped in there and Andrew popped in there. And of course, Richie's in there. And of course, I got Jim Pitch Hitter, Z-Man. I mean, there's so many more people in here, and Hanging AZ, who had to get his shot in on me on that damn crappy ass long branch shit. God, they just need to keep that where it is, right at the distillery. But I just think that this is amazing. Oh, speaking of amazing, right there. There's the guy. Yeah, he's heading to a nice little show, so I'm glad he made that. But like I said, truthfully, a great guy, and particularly from the area of town he's from, I know it. I have relatives right where he is from, been to the places that he talks about. So it was like It's like we were connected right off of the bat. So it's just amazing. So tell me in chat what's in your glass, because like I said, it's the three S's. I'm just simply sipping scotch tonight, and I'm grabbing my Glenfiddich Project 20, so XX, and I'm going to pour a little bit of that, and we're just going to sit here and we're going to chat a bit. And if the stream lasts 5 hours or it lasts an hour, who gives a shit? It's just that I'm sitting here chatting with you all, doing what I did today, and having a little sip. Makes no difference. Let me pour the top off of this. I don't want you to twist. I'm not twisting your arm. I'm not. I know what you were drinking prior, but I got to. And Bill, you were speaking of Offerman. Had a conversation about Offerman. Hold on, I'm going to highlight that. Oops. Is it just me? You know what? I put this on because it was right here, Ben, because I can't go on a stream unless I'm wearing a hat. That's for sure. But so, Bill, as you know, I did a review on that thing, and it came up in conversation about the Offerman, and I'm trying to remember where that came up and who I was talking about it with. But anyway, long and short of that is the latest one, that charred oak, it just didn't do it for me. However, with a little time in the bottle, because I waited a couple of weeks, definitely improved to where I'm going to say definitely more palatable for me. That's for sure. Let's see. Oh, a little smoke wagon for Z-Man. Oh, Mr. Great Shot, last pour light, Lagavulin 16. Absolutely. I'm going to raise my glass. You can't go wrong with the quintessential Lagavulin 16-year-old. Absolutely wonderful. Now that Tomatin 18 in itself is a delicious drop. Delicious drop. That is for sure. Oh, I thought you were going to tell me you were working on that damn Dickel. I was going to say, keep that shit in a bottle. Unless it's the 11-year that Mike was talking about, to which it's the bottled and bond. I have that on the shelf. That was that's the first one I've owned and the last one I've owned on that. On there. Drinking a pour of yellow rose rye. The bottle isn't empty because it is great. I just need the space. Hey, totally understand that. Got into a conversation about that. I'm trying to remember who I was talking to about the Offerman. Oh, yes. Boom, the light came on. Met a guy Saturday at Liquor Lineup, and he and I got into a conversation on that. And as a matter of fact, I talked to him, and darn it, his name just popped out of my head as fast as it went in. I should have said it whenever I saw it, but darn it, that's what happens. It'll come to me. I'll quit talking about it. But really a nice guy. So anyway, I told him about Tale of Forest and gave him my interpretation of it. Well, he ended up leaving there with that bottle and a few others that I had recommended. And I told him, I said, don't buy them on my recommendation. It's because you like it. Well, he liked it. He liked it so much that he opened the Tale of Forest right there. And of course, what is it? 9:15 in the morning. And what does he do? Pours some in a Glen for me and says, let's try this together. And I said, well, twist my arm to drink scotch in the morning. You don't have to do that. But he found it the same way. He found it, wow, this is extremely different. It was good. He liked it. So he says, I can't wait to go home and have a little more of this with the wife. So anyway, He and I talked about the Lagavulin. God, I got his name. Oh, I got to stop because as soon as I stop thinking about it, it'll come into my head. But we talked about it and he asked me about it. And I told him straight out, find somewhere and buy a pour of it as long as you don't feel the price is offensive. I said, because I honestly just didn't think that, I just didn't think that it was all that, if that makes sense to you. Okay. I said, but I'm not going to tell someone not to buy the bottle because it's one of those things at the price point, it's all right. I just said it wasn't in my wheelhouse like the Guinness, the Offerman finished in the Guinness cask. That is phenomenal. And I do have a backup for that. So my original bottle has about yay in there. So I am going to have to polish that off. But so there we go. Met somebody at random on Saturday. Didn't know him from a hole in the ground. We had great conversation, shared scotch, particularly Tale of the Forest. And for about 45 minutes, as we just went back and forth with different things and different stuff that he has and so on and so forth. Uh, really a great guy that I got to meet and talk to there. And all because of this. So there's a memory there that I have that involves the Glenmorangie Tale of the Forest. So hopefully he is enjoying that bottle right now and isn't going, that's not as good as I thought. What the hell does he know? But anyway, really, really a good time. Really great afternoon today. But just being able to share these spirits, talk about these spirits, and just forget about things. And I think that that's what we need more of, and not necessarily drinking, but just being able to sit, enjoy company of others, and having conversation. It doesn't have to be with this. It could be just like Hangin said, having water, have some water. Who cares? I think if we all just sit back a while, talk like normal people did back in the day when you actually sat on your front porch of your house and you had conversations with your neighbors, either to the left or to the right, or they might have been across the street, but you could have this type of conversation with them. You know, I think that this is a wonderful venue. I think the meetups that happen are terrific. And if I'm not mistaken, there's one coming up in Florida. And I wish I was more up on the dates, but because of my work schedule, I miss some of the weekly streams. So I'm not quite in the loop. So I don't know exact dates or whatever, but I know there's a meetup in Florida and a bunch of whiskey people are going to, spend a couple days down there and just have a meetup. I think it's wonderful. I think it's great. I'm so glad, and I do believe Whiskey Encore is helping with that. And I just wish I could remember the dates and what they were calling it. And it might be the Florida meetup. It might be as simple as that. But for some reason, I just don't think that's it. But it could be. It definitely could be, without a doubt. What do we got here? What's Bill say? Like the Andy Griffith Show when they went on the porch after dinner and Andy pulled out the guitar and cigarette. You know what? That's funny, but it's true. It's true. Most people don't know who their neighbors are. Don't know who's on the left or who's on the right. I'm fortunate. I know who's my neighbors over there. I don't know the other one in the other house because they're not the same from when we all moved in here 20 plus years ago when the development was brand new and we were all the original owners. But that's just times. Anyway, it's great having you all on here, and I just realized something here. Let me do a little point of order because I will be getting. Hold on, there we go. Because I'll be getting some texts here because I'm surprised I haven't. But I will put it up there so people can join. Winter, here we go. Thank you, Brian. Winter warm up, March 3rd, 4th, and 5th for Whiskey Encore. Okay, I knew Cheech was involved. I wasn't sure. So there it is, March 3rd, 4th, and 5th down in Florida. That is perfect on there. Perfect. Hold up. Let me bring somebody on here. Speaking of perfect. What's up, Mark?
Hi, man. I'll tell you what, brother. Your message tonight is that lifts the heart because that's what it is.
It is.
It just lifts the heart, man. So,
well, you know what? I appreciate you for sure. I mean, this community, and there's Top Shelf popped in there, and you may know not, but Andrew Chance, he lives just a few miles from me. You know, he has been a good friend, and he has been someone that I could reach out to, especially here. And I couldn't tell you how many times on one hand, hey, he sends me a picture. Do you want this? Or, hey, I'm over here. I see this for this price. I see this for that price. To me, that's priceless. That's valuable because I don't go to all these. Well, I go to a lot of places, but he's on a different side of town. He's at different stores. You know how it is when you're out hunting.
I do.
Everybody does it. But this community is truly amazing. I mean, I've texted Top Shelf Dustin, I've texted Bourbon, I've texted Whiskey Nose, Bourbon Battalion, Stacy from Four Leaf Whiskey. Hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? Especially when it comes to Irish whiskeys. You know, there's no one better than Four Leaf Whiskey when she knows her Irish whiskey. I think the only other person that has impeccable knowledge when it comes to Irish whiskey or Scotch is Donald Rance. I mean, I tease him and call him the Prince of Canada, and I said that we're going to start the next campaign when they need a new prime minister, and we're getting him on the ballot so we can oust the one they got and put somebody in there that has common sense.
You know, I think it's remarkable that you express yourself the way you did in this first 15 minutes of this particular stream to identify how we all interact with each other and what the value of that is. And I think that's meaningful.
Thank you.
I think that's no. I listen.
I thank you for that because that's it to me. This what we're doing right now with you here.
I think that's what this community is, and people like Yoda, Donald Rance. I think people call him Yoda. I mean,
yeah,
his knowledge of what we deal with each day in our whiskey journey, and honestly, I think it's important for us to recognize that people that focus on the community, you do that. I'm grateful for that. It's great stuff.
There's so many more people I don't mention, and I apologize. I want to say that right now, so it's recorded for life. But I want to mention a couple other people, but one in particular, Sugar Kitty. All right, he's everywhere. I pretty much don't know a channel that he isn't on, and someone who has tremendous knowledge about Scotch, about bourbon, whiskey, German beers, is amazing. He truly is. Another one, JD Bourbon Approach. He's in California, but he works out of the country. So he's in Poland right now working. But anyway, he's been doing that for 20 years. Really another great intellect, great mind, wealth of knowledge on different things, and having people like that in your chat that have that knowledge that when I do this stream and I start talking about something, and if I know they're in chat, I could call out Bill, I could call out Ben, I could call out Jay or Donald and say something, and within a few minutes, it's scrolling up in chat for me. It's like, they got my back. When I'm on a topic and I'm saying whatever, they're moving right on along. And then when I want to know anything about picks, it's this man right there, Bourbon Baller Lee. If it's good or if it's bad, he's going to let us know. That's for sure. And he is like the guru of picks. That's all I'm going to say about him. And then if I want to know anything about the United States Postal Service, I go to this the number one man right there who makes sure our special deliveries get to where they're going. And if we need directions, we can always call them. How are you, sir?
I'm not bad. Out the bat, I want to say, I promise, I know the last 2 times I joined your stream, I basically pulled the Simon and bailed out, and I will not do that.
You could stay on 5 minutes or 15. I don't care. But I draw the line at 16 minutes.
Since I'm in a Scotch a safe zone, I'm gonna start pouring some Scotch. So we're gonna start with some Aaron 10.
Oh, yeah, the 10 was that the 10?
Yep, the 10.
Okay,
I do have an Offerman lined up.
I will say this though: your green screen has tremendously improved from this morning.
Yes,
it has. I have to give Scotch 10 over Scotch under credit for that because he sorted out my settings because my settings were wrong. I had something turned on I didn't need, and he was like, "No, you don't need that. Turn that off," and it made it 100 times better.
Okay, let's just go back to what I said. Somebody in this chat knows something about our stream that when we don't know, boom, they're right here. It's right here all the time. But, like I said, today for me, after the experience I had with Top Dog and his wife, just made me think that I love talking about whiskey. I love cracking bottles, but guess what? That isn't the main thing. That's not what drives me. What drives me is seeing Donald Rance here, seeing Jim here, seeing you here, seeing the people in chat.
Yoda.
This to me is it. And I enjoy the community for that. And if I get to 500 subs or I get to 1,000 subs, great. If not, there is not one shit given to me about that. It's right now, right here. I mean, he can have his cat in his lap along with his Glenfiddich. Ta-da! That's right.
Have a cat? Yoda's got a cat?
Yes.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
I feel like
that's the real prime minister of that flag.
So I can't my plans.
Yoda, did you have a cat?
This is the original Offerman peated.
That's the first one?
Yep.
Yeah, I still have some of that too.
I think I can still get it. The store, I think the store down the street, like literally a 5-minute walk from me, I think still has it on the shelf for $80. Because it's a store where no one's gonna buy it. It's not that. It's a neighborhood store. People go,
let me know in your travels if it is. You've got my number.
I'll let you know if it's still there, Anthony.
Yep, because I don't have that. Oh, you got the Blue Run. Is that the high ride?
I'll check tomorrow.
That's the 14-year.
Okay, I don't have that. I just wasn't. I just wasn't overly excited with it. It's not terrible, particularly after it opened up a bit. Give it a little bit of time in the bottle. But I don't think it's all of that. And I don't have the 14-year, of course. I have the high rye.
2 years old. It's 2 years old. I've had it for 2 years, 1920, I think 1920 or 21. It's been on the shelf for 2 years. It opens up nice. Listen, I'm a big Rutledge fan. I gave it a try. I've tried some other Blue Run, the High Rye, not too bad. The Reflection one, I didn't care for that at all. But it's hit and miss for me. But this particular bottle for the 14-year pure bourbon, I really like that one. But I've been nurturing it for a couple of years.
Good night there, Sean. Thanks for popping in, brother. Yeah, and that's like it for anybody. You know, you're either going to like it or you're not going to like it. You can't like everything. I mean, honestly, you just can't. But ask everyone that's in chat, everyone that's on the stream now, have you ever found there are days that there are some that just absolutely hit that spot and you're like, God, I could drink this all night.
Oh,
Go back to it a week or two later and it's like, what the hell just happened?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Where is that deliciousness?
Oh, my God.
It's good, yeah. But it happens. It happens to us all.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, exactly.
Yoda.
Yes, sir.
Show us a couple things. Show us a couple of things you got going on exciting. You got a bottle sitting in front of you. I know you do. They're exciting. Sure.
He's got bottles that make you go because you can't get them, and he's like,
well, I mean, 6-year-old Redbreast 21.
Which one? Oh, hold on. I'll put that back up there again. Let me. Oh, the 21. Oh,
Yeah.
Excuse the shit.
I
out
thought
of
the
me.
fact that you found that in the back of your closet, you're like, oh crap, I still have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Who wouldn't find a Redbreast 21 in the back of their closet? Like, oh shit, I didn't actually kill that.
Yeah, and
I
then,
almost.
like I said today when I was rearranging, I found 4 of these.
4?
Four.
They're like hiding in a goddamn closet or something.
I wish Sugar Kitty was here. He'd be like, what?
I guess I bought replacements for replacements that actually didn't need to be replaced.
This is why you keep a spreadsheet.
So
I have a spreadsheet, but I haven't updated it in some time. And then I have what I call the pit, which is the top shelf of the closet where things go, and I completely forget about them.
Well, I had that happen.
Put that Russell's pick up there
With Eagle Rare. I wound up with 1 open and 3 backup.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know how I managed that, but I did. And I kept saying, I got to get a backup because I wanted one, but I'm not paying that $80, $100, $70 price tag that they're going for out here. I get it for around $40. And if not, I know where I can ask and I can get it for a reasonable price. But anyway, I got them here and it was last year. I go, where did these come from?
Yeah,
so I had a Donald Rance experience like,
well, and that's not the first time I've done that. I went out and bought a replacement for my Redbreast Lustau.
Oh, that's so good.
One time I'm like, why do I have 2 boxes of Lustau in the closet?
Because you wanted it. Your subconscious knew and said, Donald, just bring it home.
This is why I have my spreadsheet on Google Sheets so I can pull it up on my phone and go, no, I don't need that.
Yeah. They're not open, Dustin. Only one is
I was
open,
just going to ask
3.
that. That's a good question. Was they open?
Yeah. No, I don't have 4 open
All of them are open. One is a pick. Oh, that's
Rare Breed always hits the spot hanging.
That sucks.
What's Andrew got to say there?
True.
I missed it.
Oh, sorry. I'll put it back up. That was me. I hit the
point, Andrew. I had a McKenna 10 that when I opened it, it wasn't bad. And granted, I had the bottle for pushing 5 years. Actually, what is it? 2023. So for a little over 5 years, and it went south. It was okay when I opened it. I finally drain poured it today. It was undrinkable. It sucks.
Mm.
It wasn't spectacular when I started, but it definitely went.
Yeah, you should drain pour that damned West Cork because that's all it's good for.
Hey, it's been my experience. It's hard to pick any store.
If Ed didn't mind it, I don't mind it. I'm not saying I'm not telling anybody to hunt the bottle myself,
I know. It's just I got to break your balls over it because
so for anyone who doesn't know,
it's near the top of my shit list. That
so
bottle.
for anyone who doesn't know, I bought this bottle on December 31st. This is a West Cork
12-year rum cask.
Single malt Irish whiskey, 12 years old, finished in rum casks.
Jim, are you?
And it's not great.
It's not good either.
It's clear that whatever rum cask they used to finish this was either seasoned or very wet, because the rum finish is overbearing. Like every once in a while, the cooling distillate will peek through, and you'll get those tropical notes. But for the most part, you just get smothered by this funky rum.
Yeah,
it's drinkable, but it's clear that this was not a great effort, and I get why Donald doesn't like it. I
equated it to the smell of hockey changing room, crotch rot.
I think that's a little far, but
I don't know.
Standards than I do. Fair enough.
No, it's just that's what it came off across for me, and I was like, oh no, but it's not as bad.
Can you be more clear?
He could be, but he knows that this is a respectable channel. Sometimes.
I will tell you, the absolute worst Irish whiskey you can buy for the money is that god-awful Tullamore XO rum cask. Even worse than that West Cork.
And I think it's because of the fact that I still see that on the shelves, and it's not just like a one-off. Like, this is the only one of these I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I see that all around all the place. That bottle sucked.
It just
no one wants.
I poured mine out into a campfire, like a campfire.
Wow.
Just for the blue flames.
That's strong words from that guy.
So, Donald,
for the blue flame.
Yeah.
How's that Glenfiddich treating you?
I love it.
Just for the blue flame. All right.
Gotcha. No, I love it. This is how Glenfiddich should be doing things.
You know,
47% non-chill filtered, not buttered around with.
No.
Decent aged stuff in here, and it's right down the middle of classic Speyside with those lovely apple and honey notes.
I was just going to say, is this one of the sweetest little drops you've ever put on your tongue?
That's the Project XX, right?
Yeah, it is.
That's why I said today I'm simply sipping scotch.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what I thought of, because it is so sweet. Now, the only one that I would say comes in maybe a second is that Tale of Forest, with the sweetness right on the tongue in the beginning, is that Tale of Forest. And it's amazing with that. But this one and its sweetness is hands down gotta be.
Oh, yes.
Well, that's true, but I don't have that one. I've had a taste of it. So what I got is this. You hurt yourself there, Mark. Got to stop.
The Project XX.
You got to remember, T-Rob is a professional.
That's of course Andrew Chance. No, I'm pretty sure neither the West Cork or the Tullamore Dew XO are worse than the Proper 12.
The XO, the Tullamore Dew XO is worse.
Really? That's impressive. When you're worse than Proper 12.
Remember that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
no one drinks Proper 12, do they?
No, they put it in cocktails.
Apparently, Proper 12 is branched out to flavored whiskey now. Apparently, there's a Proper 12 apple now.
Yeah, they're probably going to do an Irish honey as well.
Well, they have to do something to get rid of the taste of that whiskey.
They don't call it Pooper 12 for nothing.
Yeah.
But it flies off the shelf.
I know. It does.
It does.
That's Glenfiddich. I had a sample of that. I think it was at the end of 2020 in an advent calendar, and I didn't care for it. I'm like,
Project XX?
Yeah, and I was like,
what?
Okay. It was okay, but it wasn't anything I really enjoyed.
This bottle was gifted to me.
Did he say he didn't enjoy it? I had to boot his ass from there for saying such a thing.
That's the beauty of whiskey. But I might not care for, you like, and I don't, Donald over there somewhere, he likes. And that's the beauty of it. You know, we don't all like the same thing. I don't mind that West Cork. I don't love it. Donald thinks it's utter garbage fire trash.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. No, I got gifted this bottle for Christmas, I think 2019 or 2020, one of the two. And,
I think it was a 2020 release.
yeah, one of the two anyway. But I think this is a really good example of where Glenfiddich should go. Just play to that, straight down the middle space side character.
I honestly think that this is an exceptional drop for the money too.
Mm-hmm.
I do. Now this was a gift from last Christmas.
Okay.
Not this one, but it was Christmas last year that just passed.
Yep.
And my father got it for me. And he's like, "Do you think you'll like that?" And I looked at it and knew what it was. I go, "Yes, but you should have got me 2 more. So I would have had 3.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey,
but
if any of you guys had this, I saw this at my store the other day, and
hold on. Deanston?
Oh, Deanston.
Brandy Cashmere. I have not had that one.
I've
Okay.
not had that one. I've had the 2008 Bordeaux red wine, and it blew me sideways. I wish I bought
No.
more than 2. But
So
We should have
I've
brought
been
one.
thinking about picking it up because
That was fun.
I like the Highland stuff,
Be careful
and
the
that
present,
really
yes.
looked like a good one to get.
yeah, Deanston does quality stuff for the most part.
So T-Rob, did you pick that up and tried it?
No, but I'm going to my local store and get it. Yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
So
I
that
just wanted to check because
question,
I've heard some good stuff about a lot of the Deanston, and I like the Highland stuff because I'm not a big peat guy. So
yeah, Whiskey Mountains. Woo! So as far as that
Eric.
question goes, I'm going to say it depends on the release, and
Yeah.
on that, I'm going to default to Donald. He might have.
there you go.
Yeah, it just depends on the release. I mean,
Yeah.
for Tullamore, the best they ever did was the Phoenix.
Which is discontinued.
If you can find a Phoenix, you buy it on the spot.
Right.
Agreed.
For Jameson, my favorite is one you can't get in the U.S. It's called Jameson Crested. That's my go-to kind of bottom end
Good luck finding
Jameson.
that.
And then above that, it would be like the Bow Street or the new 18, which I'm excited I can get now and have on the way.
Adriana,
So yeah, I would say it just depends on the release.
ask your husband that question.
Come on, Adriana. This is a classy establishment.
That's right. I can't believe it. She comes here and I go right the other way that quick. I have
So
to
y'all-
apologize to everybody.
Y'all on Irish tonight?
There you
I'm
go,
on
Bill
Scotch,
Monkey. You got a point.
Scotch.
but
Scotch?
but let me
I'm
just say,
gonna try this that
hold on.
my man here, Anthony, sent me.
What do you got?
Buna
Oh, dude.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
That's
That is classic.
if I didn't have
Flavor
that in
Bomb.
here, I'd join you with that.
Excellent.
But that's
Yeah,
I'm telling you
Buna
right
12.
now, that has a beautiful hint of peat that
Right.
wraps the sweetness of the Scotch perfectly
There you go.
on the palate. So when you take that first sip of that,
Yeah.
you hold that for a few seconds
Okay.
and just enjoy that.
All right.
And then go ahead and finish it and then wait. And then do a retrohale, an exhale just slowly.
Okay.
And that peat will just ever so slightly come out of that drop. And I think
That tells
that
me.
is a great beginner's Scotch,
Oh, Bill
not only for
Monkey.
flavor, but for peat. Just like I feel the Highland Park 12, the Highland Park 15
You're fine.
would be for somebody like that. It's absolutely amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
It just,
The only issue with Boonahaven, I will say, is that there have been batch consistency issues.
Hmm.
Not as bad as
That's good.
Glenfarclas, but
oh, yeah,
That is good.
it is good stuff.
it
Wow.
is.
Good night, Eric.
Good
Man.
night, Eric.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
it's just a hint of that peat.
I was gonna say, yeah, Ben
But it-
700's got a point.
Oh my gosh,
The
dude.
Buna 12 is not heavily peated.
No,
Right.
You're not gonna get whacked. It's not like a 2x4 to the face or anything. There's a little hint of it.
Yeah, it's like I'm getting into the corners of my tongue a little bit.
Exactly.
But
So
It is a brilliant introduction to peated
It
Scotch.
is.
Really.
and
if you don't have peated Scotch, just what Jim was saying,
Yeah.
it is to me that's your stepping stone, particularly into a good single malt,
Oh,
12
yeah.
a year.
I'd say either that
It's,
or Kalila.
you know, I
Those
hate
would
to
be the
use
steps.
this word, but it's very smooth. I mean,
Yeah.
it
No, I
goes,
got you.
It
It
goes
is.
down.
Fair, Ben.
It's very drinkable. Yeah.
It is. I don't think there's anybody here that's going to
Yeah.
argue that with you. I mean, I got, Bill's on
And-
here too. Demon Hunter's on
yeah.
here.
It's-
And the thing is, if you like that, move forward. Try something that's a little more heavily peated. If you don't like
Right.
that, you know that's not the path for you.
At least
No,
not yet.
I like it. To me, I'm getting more of it on the nose than I am on the palate.
Yes.
With the peat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which kind of threw me off a little bit.
And it
Yeah.
did me too, because everyone told me how light the peat is. I'm a
Yeah.
Lafroig person. I'm an Ardbeg. I'm a Lagavulin. I mean, you're talking, it's peat. And
Yeah.
just like Adriana was drinking the Port Charlotte 10, there's none of us here that have had that will tell you that is a beautiful drop. And as a matter of fact, I know Donald has quite a few stacked around him just so he could feel comfortable, because he knows what a good drop that is.
Yeah, but I'm also a Bertolatti fanboy too.
Oh yeah.
Well, that
There you
too.
go.
But there's also a classic Lottie T-Rob. It's
I
not.
was fixed to say that's the next one I want to try was that classic.
Do not hesitate.
Yeah.
Just buy the damn
Just get
thing.
I mean,
Yeah.
just bear in mind that the classic Lottie is not peated,
Right.
Correct.
but
Correct.
if you like that malt note, you'll like the classic Lottie.
You'll
If
like
you're not a
it.
fan of that
Yeah,
malt note,
that's good
it's
right
not
there.
for you.
I'm very surprised.
like
with it.
that?
I'm very pleased with it.
Once you get there, you like the Boonahaben.
yeah, I'd say if you like the Bunahaven, then you should be
Get a Highland Park 12 or 15. I like the 15.
Or a
But the
Kalila
12 is
12
fine.
would be a good one too.
Yes.
The Kalila,
12,
if you
yeah.
can find the 12, because the peat level in the Kalila is definitely a little more than the Highland Park or the Boonahaben 12.
I got
It's
it.
a little
Definitely
more
more than Bunahaven. Yeah.
Yeah. It will.
Oh, yeah.
It will be that next
Level.
It'll be that next step up.
Okay.
And then once you really acquire the taste and you understand it,
Right.
I would tell you then to go ahead right into the classic Lagavulin 16.
Yeah.
And once you get there, if you get that log 16 and you like that, you can go left, you can go right. You won't
start
have much of a
branching off.
problem.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, hey,
yeah.
I appreciate you sending me this sample, man. It's excellent.
Hey, I'm just lucky I found your house. I mean, that was
Well,
tough.
You did a good
You
job.
really live in
man.
the boonies, man.
Yeah, I am. I'm in the middle of nowhere, so
Hey, it's important to be there sometimes.
there you go.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it really is a great drop, and that Dinston, you'll
Yeah.
like that too.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab that. That's gonna be my next Scotch buy.
All right. I need another pour, so
Let's have a look at my favorite for
You
two.
see, if anything ever zooms out on Tim,
Yeah,
I just can't. I'm staring at him because I'm talking to him.
So I just poured this.
Tosha.
Oh,
Okay.
Which one was that, Jim?
This is the Bunahaven.
Oh yeah.
Tosha.
Yeah, Toshik
Now,
or
Yes.
however.
now, if you like
the Houdini.
Bunahaven 12,
Ooh.
this is the next
Oh,
step.
look at that show off.
yeah,
That's your barrel.
big flex.
My favorite of 2022, my top whiskey for 2022.
My next pour will be a Port Charlotte, Donald.
So
Nice.
Working my way up.
Very
bourbon for bacon. I'm telling you what, that 15-year-old Viking Heart in that ceramic bottle is good, but that's all going away. The 15-year-old juice will still be there, but they're getting out of the Vikings.
Thank God.
God.
Yeah, but I did buy a backup of that because I just like that ceramic bottle.
Honestly,
I'm not
I'm
knocking the
so
juice.
no,
but
I'm
they
so
went
glad.
way overboard with the whole Viking.
They did. Like
out of
it,
control.
Hey, Katie, cheers.
Katie,
whole-
cheers.
the whole
I
Viking.
hope Livewire didn't ruin you two. You
Yeah.
know,
Eddie Turner,
I know how it is on that show. I just want you guys to know that.
Well,
man.
good luck,
Yeah.
Jack.
This
If
is
you can find-
this is a
if you can
safe
get- if you can
place.
Find those.
So you know what, Jim? The whole thing I hate about the whole Viking angle too is I feel like I've been transported back to the year 850 and I'm about to walk into an adult section in a Viking bookstore because you've got names like Valknut or, Valkyrie's tit juice or whatever
You know what I mean?
stupid
The
other
thing is,
shit
even most
they're
of those
doing.
are gone. Like the Valknut, the Valpowder, I think those have been retired. But
Thank
if you
God.
look at the current releases, it's still, it's clear that someone OD'd on Norse mythology and went crazy with it.
Oh, no kidding. After
If you get the travel exclusives, you're like, what the fuck? It really gets crazy.
Yeah, because they
like
show
Spirit of the Eagle and Spirit of the Bear.
Or wolves, two wolves shagging or whatever the
with
fuck
that.
it is.
Yeah, that's right.
Just awful.
Wolf shagging.
Yeah, it's just awful.
I mean, that whole Viking thing is why I've never bought a Highland Park. I've been curious about it. But
so some of the juice has changed too. Some of it's changed as well. Like it isn't as good as it used to be, especially like the 18. That was a standard go-to for a long time for me. Like Highland Park 18, solid, safe, spectacular choice. Now,
oh yeah,
it's getting I got to grab some water. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, but that Highland Park 18 is a hitter. It's just getting pricey.
Yeah. Highlight Bill Monty's comment about the Talisker for me, if you would. The first time I tried Talisker, I had a sample in an advent calendar back in 2020, and the first half of it, I'm like, what the this is weird, fishy, fuck this shit. No. And I put the rest of it away. And I came back to it like a year later and went, I get this now. This is okay. I like this. So it's one of those things where you really have to come back. When you have more, it's that one and the Mortlock. I have to have more experience. I have to learn more. I have to try more.
Mortlock is
I got it.
Yeah, Mortlock is just meaty, hefty, kind of sulfurous.
And really, with the Mortlock, it was the Craig Yelke set the table for the Mortlock. Because I had a sample of a 19-year-old Mortlock from Ed over at the Rocket Review. And the first half, I'm like, what the I don't get this at all. What the hell is this? Fuck this shit. And I put it away. And I came back to it about a month ago and went, this makes sense now. I get this. Mm-hmm. I like this. So if you get a sample with someone and you don't get it, or a bottle and you don't get it, put it away for a while. Try other stuff. And when you come back to it, you might get it. It might make more sense.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Now, I just picked up another bottle of the Talisker Storm because they had it on special just before Christmas for like $34.99.
Yeah, that's insane. Bourbon for
That's wow.
Yeah. So I picked it up because I'm hearing rumors that one may go away.
Which one?
Storm? I don't think so. No.
I said that too, but I'm not going to spread rumors. What I'm saying is I'm not going to say who told me, but I got it for somebody in the business. But I just can't see it because I think it's a tremendous seller for them. Am I wrong?
It is. And
Bourbon Baller's still floating around.
I mean, they just released a new travel retail one, I think called Talisker Surge or something like
something
that.
Along that line. I think Gert, Whiskey Lovers Society, he mentioned that.
Because there has been rumors about Darkstorm possibly going away.
Maybe it's Darkstorm. I was just going to say there's something. Maybe it's Darkstorm that was going away.
I would buy that because that's a travel exclusive, so I could see them swapping that out for something else.
If it goes away, I need to hoard every single bottle I can get my hands on.
Ha ha ha.
So, all right. So, what should my next pour be, guys? What do you think?
Oh, I would. You know me, I'm going to tell you, I would go with that Brook Lottie because that's your favorite. Just reach down behind you there. I'm sure you got 4 or 5.
I do, but I have even more in the closet. So,
well, pick one of those.
Okay, will do. I'll be back.
I'll stay here.
One of the things that I know is getting discontinued, if you like Loch Lomond, Michael Henry, who was the master distiller over Loch Lomond, he said in the if you're subscribed to Aquaviti, he does a V pub every Thursday, and in the V pub on Thursday, he mentioned that the 18-year-old Inchmirren, which is their peated expression. And they have a 12 and 18. The 18 is being converted to a travel only. So if you like peated Scotch, you like peated Highland, and you see it, and it's not crazy, grab it because it's going away. And I had the 12, and the 12 is fantastic. Hey, Donald. Hey, Dustin should have yelled at me for making fun of him.
Never.
Hey, speak of the devil. And
I did want to, however, point out the difference in packaging between this nice, stately, well put together bottle here with, a very nice looking bottle.
Looks like there's some missing from that bottle.
I've had a little bit of it. Yeah, it's tasty stuff. And then, their new packaging. Now, this is the same package they use for the 25 now.
Okay.
Cheap cardboard, over the top, decorated for no reason crap.
Still got the Viking shit all over it. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, just ridiculous silliness here. That said, this is also an old Highland Park, and
now I see those.
Guys,
those are still floating around.
Yeah, this is okay if you can get it. If somebody's putting it on
the fire or the ice.
This is the fire.
Yeah,
I like the fire a lot more than the ice. I will say that.
Frederick over at Undivided, he fucking hated that. Thought that was trash.
I mean, you do need to want to taste something that tastes like you set ashes on fire. If you don't like that, I don't know why you bought it.
So you have to like peated whiskey to enjoy it then.
I mean, it's peated, but it's a funky peat kind of thing going on here. They really got a very they hit their fire concept here quite well.
Oh man!
And also, it is port finish, which is why I freaking adore it.
Is it a port finish on that? Wow. Is it a white port?
Huh?
White port?
Or I don't think so. No, this is nice. Okay. It's grapey and plummy right here on the nose.
Okay. Man. Okay.
That reminds me of, and this was a couple of years ago. I had my sister try a taste of Ardbeg 10, and I distinctly remember her being like, "Oh, this is like I'm looking at burnt in the campfire log."
Yes, she said, "Isn't that delicious?"
No, she's like, "Ah."
Yeah, but that's what you should have said. Is yeah, I know.
I'm the whiskey drinker in my family. No one else in my family drinks whiskey, except for I have one nephew who's kind of into it. No one else in my family drinks whiskey.
Terrible, Jim. So you don't have to worry about them coming up to your cabinets, and
I'd be happy to share if they got into it. But my sister doesn't drink it, and my brother is a teetotaler.
Well, look where you live,
which is fine.
Look where you live. Come on, a teetotaler.
He's also a vegan. What do you want?
Oh,
you need to just disown him.
No. I like my brother. He's cool.
I'd be like, bruh, you and me.
Well, hey, Deanston has an organic whiskey.
Yeah, fair.
I'm just saying.
They do, yeah.
They do.
The 15-year organic.
I don't quite grasp what organic even really means in that concept.
Yeah, no kidding. Isn't all whiskey organic?
Well, I think they're talking about the barley specifically. They don't, treat it with pesticides or anything like that.
Yeah. They tested the fields prior to planting. I don't know.
Yeah, and then, fertilizers are basically, combination of sheep and cow shit.
Yeah, they got an organic cow to take a dump on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much.
Buy a bottle of Floki.
Oh, Floki is not bad.
I've seen it around here, and the problem with, and for those who don't know, Floki is
the price.
Iceland, and it's
it was
smoked with sheep dung.
Yeah, it was $80 Canadian for 500 mil.
I've seen it here for $100, and I'm just like, yeah.
Ooh. So it's cheaper in Canada. You really are getting shafted then.
Well, who were we talking to this morning? I know it was on Ken's stream, but these 700 mil bottles are starting to land here in the States.
Oh, they're everywhere now, man.
Yeah.
All the spring bankers now.
They got legal. They're going to come. Jack Daniels are the bonded.
Yeah,
Jack Daniels bonded.
Exactly.
Jack Daniels triple master 700 milliliters.
I was
know
just
this
going to
mother
say
said
the
when
Jack
that milk
Daniels.
is gone up, I guarantee you. Give it
Oh
like
yeah,
5 to 8 years, you'll
even
see
if
a
they
ton
keep
of
the
them. It's
same,
gonna
even
happen.
if they keep the same price with the 7 million, they're making more money. So
Oh, yeah.
you know,
I mean,
Yeah.
Shrinkflation.
Well,
my
I mean,
response to that is it's 50 milliliters. It's a hotel nip.
yeah,
Who cares?
well, that's an ounce, man. That's a full pour.
Well,
it's
50
just
mil
like
is
sugar.
actually
Yeah.
close
Your sugar
to
used to be
two.
in a 5-pound bag. Now it's in a 4-pound bag.
Yeah, you're right,
Same
Donald. It's
price.
actually, yeah, you're right. It's close to 2 ounces.
Yeah, close to 2
Oh,
ounces.
60
Yes,
hertz.
1.75.
Yes.
Yeah, because
Cheers, man.
the
How's
Jack
everything
Daniels,
over there in New Zealand?
the single barrel proofs, since they came out, have been 700 mils here in Canada.
Really?
We don't
Oh,
get
wow.
the
Yeah.
750.
The 750.
I mean, it's
It's
a
because
real
of the
difference.
metric system, you know.
It's a real difference.
All right. So,
One thing,
Anthony,
one door.
I will give you a choice. You said
Okay.
Berclati.
Hold on.
couldn't-
Go ahead.
Couldn't make up my mind. So 2008
Oh.
Bear Barley.
Yeah,
Cheers, hanging.
2010 Bear Barley.
I just finished a 2011.
2012 Bear Barley.
Damn.
And I still have
What number for?
2006 in the closet, but way at the back of the top
In the
shelf.
Do the
Donald
the
might
12.
like their barleys, but he doesn't drink enough of them.
I do.
do the
I
do the
just-
12.
I just order backups constantly.
Yeah,
All right.
because I'm interested in
with
that.
Wadi is the Octomore because it's gotten so ridiculously overpriced.
Oh,
Yeah.
stupid. Just
Well, I'm going with the only other Scotch that I currently own, and that's the Glen 10.
That's not a bad one, Tim. It's a great,
Nope.
it's a great place
No,
to start.
this is when
If
I've had some blended scotches over the years, but this was my first single malt
There you go.
back into trying scotch, and I really enjoyed it.
well, I'm going to tell you, if you like
A lot of other
that,
people.
It's all
everything
from
that
there,
they
man.
make steps off from there.
Yeah.
So that Tale of Forest
Exactly.
is that. But like I said, that's their base. That's what everything
Right.
comes
Yep.
off of. Everything else just
Goes up from there. Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
The Taylor Cake, the Taylor Forest, the Lasanta, the
I've heard a lot of good things.
All
about
of it is
Lasanta.
built on the tip.
Yeah.
The Quinta Rubin is really good, man. I haven't
Oh.
mentioned that.
Ken will stand up on his chair for Quinta Rubin.
he will.
Man, that's
He will. He will.
Oh,
I mean, a
Quinta
14-year-old
Rubin.
Scotch for that price and it's 46%. I mean,
Yeah.
did a lot of things right.
See if 7 in the morning
Exactly.
Villeneuve.
No, it certainly is. I'm looking for a Quinta Rubin because I just gotta have one of those eventually.
Oh yeah,
It's not a FOMO thing, but that's one of the ones I want to put in the old collection.
There you
yeah,
go.
that's the sherry finish, right? The Quinta Rubin, or is that the
No, that's the port.
That's the
Los
port.
Angeles is,
Okay,
the
it's
Lasanta
port,
is
I
the
thought.
sherry, yes.
Okay.
yeah, to me, the
Yeah,
Lasanta
the-
is a little less exciting. It's not quite as good. The
Yeah,
Quinta Rubin really hits
Yeah.
it.
I haven't had the Lasanta. I haven't had the Quinta Rubin. I've had the Lasanta, and I can tell you that the Lasanta I've put that up against blended scotches finished in sherry. The Lasanta kicks all their asses. If you're looking
Oh,
for something
sure.
to start with sherry scotch, start there.
I've heard the Lasanta was real good. Yeah.
Lasanta's interesting.
It's not great, but any blended finished in cherry, it will kick its butt.
Right.
Fine.
Well, yeah, but if you're talking blends, yeah, I agree with that for sure.
Who knows anything about the Compass Box experimental grain?
That's going to be that guy.
Yeah, I've got it.
Can you get the bottle? I want to see the box if it's the same one I'm looking at. If you don't mind, if you have it.
Yeah, let me. Actually,
I mean,
think got it.
don't break your neck to get it. I'm just curious.
So it's funny because Faz is in the chat and he actually described this whiskey to a T with one of the greatest descriptors I have ever heard.
Really?
And he put it in the chat and he's like, it's like a hobo vomited oatmeal on a horse blanket.
What?
Gosh,
How did I miss that?
what?
I remember that.
This was in one of Ken's streams that he put
Oh.
this descriptor up.
Oh,
And
I'm like,
it's stuck
oh
with
my
me.
Oh, bourbon before bacon. That is a good question. American single malt. I would say if you're not averse to peat, try the McCarthy's Oregon single malt. Beyond
That's
that,
it.
I would say
How about
That's
that
the one.
courage and conviction?
So the experimental malt or
That's the,
experimental grain. Cool.
what is that? The canvas one?
That's the experimental grain that he was talking about.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
I wonder
Yeah, see-
why Mark popped off there. Who
We
knows?
don't see those here.
Well, that's the one I was looking at today, and I kind of thought Dustin mentioned it before because he and I have talked about Compass Box and Flaming Heart, and he had another one that he pulled out that's no longer available, but makes his left foot tap and then goes over to the right foot. But anyway,
Yeah, that's a good one though. If you like light whiskey and you want something a little bit like with just a hint of smoke and peat added to it, that's kind of right in that wheelhouse.
Cool.
what would you say the price is of those?
When they first put it out, they put a $750 price on it.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's ridiculously stupid. I know it's not that now. I just
No,
forget.
it turned out they accidentally put the case price on it instead of the bottle price.
Okay.
No, it should be something in like the 125 plus or minus 150 range, like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say about on 50 at $25, give or take where you're
Yeah,
okay.
but $150 seems about right. I want to say I paid 135 maybe. But yeah, I mean, as long as you're under 170, you should be probably in the right range.
Whoa.
It's good whiskey.
Okay.
On the back of that Glenfiddich, this just went into I am a malt monster overlord. Love me or I will kill you mode.
Yeah. You're welcome for that suggestion.
God.
by the way. You're
Wow.
welcome. But I'm
That's
just
good.
telling you, the honey, the heather in this Glenfiddich Project 20 is. I just love the nose of this thing. I mean, I'm just slowly sipping on this scotch, but it is just a delight to sip on and smell.
It is. Yeah.
It is.
It's one of their best bottlings.
And I haven't had that thing in so long. God, that was probably almost 8 years ago when I had that.
Project XX? No, this is 2019, 2020 release.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what we were just talking about.
Project XX came out a long time ago, man.
No. Not that long.
I don't know if it's a good price or not, JD. You have to ask Dusty. He might have a better point of reference.
What's JD looking for?
He says that they have the Compass Box experimental grain on sale for $104 a gallon.
That's a good price. Yeah, I mean that's getting into like the UK prices. I mean that's overseas price.
There you go.
Anybody had this? That my local store just did a pick of it right before Christmas. It's the Courage and Conviction Coupe.
Oh, Conviction. That's
the
Virginia Distillery Company. I've had their core release cuvee cask, and I've had a pick of theirs that was bourbon finished.
Yeah, I've had the bourbon finished. I haven't had the cuvee.
Yeah. The cuvee is okay. I didn't pay for that one. I won that one from over at the Whiskey Dictionary. The pick that was bourbon finished was way better.
Yeah. The experimental XX guys came out in 2016.
2016. Okay.
Really?
Yeah, the initial bottling was 5/12 of 16, so December of 16.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see it. Yep. So I got this probably then 2018, maybe. No.
I must have gotten mine in 17 because I got it as soon as it hit the shelves because it looked like a really cool thing, so I just grabbed one.
Yeah. Yeah, I just like the fact that it comes at like 47 ABV. You know, they're not buggering around and proofing it down.
Mm.
Yeah, and it's a good bottle, honestly.
Yeah.
So it was back in 16.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
See, I thought it was around 19 because I got mine
Well,
in
I think
20,
it's more than
21.
that.
There have been multiple batches of it, but yeah, 16 is the initial release.
Okay.
Wow. What about that crappy pale ale one?
I mean, it's interesting. I don't know that I would like rush out and buy another bottle,
Nah.
but it was interesting.
No.
It's not as bad as the Jameson Pale Ale one. That thing is just fucking revolting.
Oh, the Jameson IPA?
Yeah, that.
Cash
just-
Mates?
Ugh.
That's one of
The
those
stout's
ones you go.
okay. The IPA, fuck that shit.
That's
Yeah.
one of those ones you want to talk to them with that blender and that distiller and go, what were you thinking? Tell us
Yeah.
what you thought of when you produced this, that you said, oh my gosh, this is exactly what we want. Or was it just one of those things where you go, oh my God, how are we going to sell this?
I would
I
say it's
think-
marketing trying to play off of the craft beer movement at the
Yeah,
time.
I think,
Yeah.
and Donald might agree, I think will agree with me with the Jamesons and Bushmills. They both suffer from the same thing, which is they aim for the lowest common denominator, the biggest market they can get. And
Yeah.
because they do that, they aim for the most accessible fruit they can get, which often is 40 or 43, which does their distillate a huge disservice.
Yep. Absolutely.
Like again,
Yep.
and I think I just put it away actually, but that Bushmills Prohibition Edition at 46%,
Yeah.
that shows you what Bushmills can be when they actually try.
Yep.
And they don't.
Well, there's, I mean, Jameson's
Mhm.
selling to the market that just drinks Jameson for shots.
Exactly.
So obviously they want
Yep.
low ABV.
And
That's
that's Jameson's failing. You know, and I think the 18 is 46 now, so they're
It
kind
is.
of getting it, but it's going to take a while for it to get down.
No, the 18's 40.
No, it's
No,
46
the
now.
new one.
Oh, really? They put a new one out? Okay.
Yep, 46%.
46 and non-chill filtered.
Because I was just looking at it
They're
for
learning.
this, like just the
But
other
it's holding up
day.
here
And
and
I was like,
trickling
"Ooh,
down."
that's 40? Ooh. Like, that's a nice box. The rest of but if you're going to put 40% whiskey in there, you can go to hell.
Yeah, but the wooden box 18 is crap.
Oh, yeah. Great box. I'm sure it was
No.
garbage whiskey.
Yeah, the old green box ones are the ones that you want if you're going to go for an 18.
Those were delicious, man. That coffee note, God.
And apparently it's back in the new one with the 46.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I need to pick up one of those gas
gas
drink ones that are out there.
46%?
the Bow Streets are fantastic. I love
Yeah,
them.
I've seen it. I'm like, ooh, but it's expensive enough where I have to like think about it before I buy it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, we had them here once, and I wish I'd bought more than one bottle because I crushed that thing.
Yeah, we have them around. I think they're. I can't remember what the price on it is though.
Yeah, bourbon for bacon. I've tried Woody Creek because JD Bourbon Approach sent me a sample of Woody Creek. I forget if it was the bourbon or the rye cast drink. That's not bad, but it's not accessible out here where you and I are. It doesn't exist in Massachusetts.
Oh wow, the Bow Street's only $200 here. It's actually literally it's only $30 more than the 40% 18.
Yeah.
Jeez, it's 55. I'm gonna pick that up. And
Yeah.
there's one literally like I could walk and pick one up.
Cool.
All right.
Apparently, it's the only one actually near me is literally walking distance. Then the other option is to drive about 40 minutes.
Depends on how bad you want it.
Well, I think I like it. Well, the $200 is the bigger issue than the drive. I think it is still $200.
Yeah.
That's not nothing.
There you go, JD. Thank you.
There we go. My go-to peated scotch.
Fuck yeah.
Yep.
This is epic.
Wait a minute. You going to Port Charlotte?
He's going to Port Charlotte. Yep.
Yep. I
Are
mean,
you-
I worked my way up. I started with the Offerman, Monterbullen, and then I went to the Bruichladdich to Wichita, and now I'm up to this. And what I would tell Tim Robertson is, if you like the Bunnahaven and you like the next step up from that, it's where you go next.
Yep.
You're on mute, Tim. Unmute
Because-
yourself.
For the money, you can't beat this.
Yeah, I'm comfortable paying about $100 Canadian for it. I mean,
Try unmuting yourself, Tim.
considering,
Yeah.
you know,
Thank you.
It's all right.
How
We know
was
you're
that?
new. We know you're
I've
new.
also seen. Besides the classic laddie. I've also seen the barley wine.
so Isla barley or bear barley, because there's
Yeah.
two different barley ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the Isla barleys are 100% all Isla barley,
Yeah.
and it could be a combination of 2-row and 6-row barley, whereas the bear barley is 100% 6-row bear barley, which is a really, really ancient type of barley that they grow on Isla that's
Yeah.
well suited to the climate. It's a pain in the ass to work with, though, apparently,
Right.
because the first time Berclati tried to use it, it flooded the equipment, broke the mills,
Oh, wow.
caused a disaster. And they had to
Yeah.
learn how to specifically work with
How
it,
to process it.
mill it.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
those ones are my favorite because they can verge on kind of agricultural barley, farmyard funk.
I gotcha. Yeah.
Bourbon likes to call them shit whiskey.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
They're farmy.
yeah, they are.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Definitely. Like if you, with a 2010 that I have, if you imagine an overripe peach
Yeah.
that fell off the tractor and got into a bit of hay, that's kind of where you're going
Okay.
in terms of the vibe.
Gotcha.
And I know you might think that doesn't sound very pleasant, but once you honestly experience it, it's like, okay, I get that, but it's not off-putting.
Right.
Now,
right.
there are some that do have a strong hay or grass note
Yeah.
to it, but one of the things when you really get into it, and you may think it's odd, but you'll get a briny taste on some scotches that are
Yep.
prominent, like,
Yeah.
okay, salt water,
Yeah.
but it's not
Yeah,
that there's
right,
salt
right.
water in it. It's because of where the barrels are next to the ocean.
They're picking it up. Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
picking that
Right.
up out. So
I got you. Gotcha.
exactly. So
Yeah.
Lafroig is known for it,
Yeah.
especially the Carchus that I have.
Right.
It is very prevalent there, but it's a note that people that drink that a lot, we know it's there, but it's one of those
Yeah.
things we pass over and go right to the peat, the sweetness, the pear,
Yeah.
the honey, the heather, the
Okay,
caramels, different other
There you
notes on
go.
that. The brine is just, it's just there.
Right. Right.
Okay.
You have to work through it. Yeah.
Well,
And Ben Demon Hunter's
Ben,
comment
Ben.
about Legic, it's kind of spot on. It is a dirty, dirty, funky peat.
yeah.
But when you were talking about the peach and the hay, though, I can relate to that because we have peach farms all around where I live, and hay because there's a lot of horses in this area. So
Speaking a lot of horses and hay. Hey, Shane.
Oh God!
He only said that because of
Now, don't insult horse
Put him in
shit.
here.
Horse shit smells way better than Shane does. Come on.
oh my god,
I can't
That's
shit on
why I
Shane
put
too
you
much.
right
He found
next
that
to him,
pig down at
Shane.
Lake Wiley, so
jealousy does not look good on you, Dustin.
I never once implied I smelled better, buddy.
But
I know that
Yeah.
handle my scotch.
I'm the kind of man who knows my shit stinks and knows how bad it is.
give the courtesy flush. Huh?
So, Anthony, I heard you.
I understand the importance of a courtesy flush at home, even.
Yeah, exactly.
I heard you had a visit from a friend today.
I did too.
Yeah.
And I'm very aware you were well aware.
Yes. Dude,
'Cause
I was
you
so
were a
excited
top-
to hear you guys were going to meet up. That was
You were a topic of discussion.
Oh Jesus, that's not.
Well,
Oh,
for
yeah.
those who don't know,
Oh yeah.
Bourbon Neophyte met Top Dog, who is sort of kind of local to Shane in a weird way.
He's Nashville.
Yeah.
Oh, we're
Yeah.
in Nashville, okay.
Okay.
He's a legend, you know.
So hold on. Hold on. I have
He's a good
you know,
dude,
a lot
man.
of people won't believe this, but you know, I'm gonna
Oh,
Look at that. Look at that.
there he is.
There
Nice.
you go.
There you
What
go.
a guy, man. Is he not
Yeah.
the coolest guy? Like, he is legit
So
the coolest guy.
that was the premise of my beginning of the stream today, mentioning story time and about whiskey that creating memories of an occasion. So I told a story and I said it goes just what story time is about and what Shane is doing. I talked about you and I said because I shared a whiskey I never had with a friend that we never met until that day, but we talk like we're doing right now. And then like when we got together, Shane, it was like we never been apart.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
So the story was this is I'm sitting there at the bar, my wife's on one side, he's there, his wife's on another, but I could smell the whiskey in his glass. My nose was going. I mean, it was that pronounced. And turkey is what went through my mind. So as we're talking, I look up and I see some turkey, but I see a Decades up there. And I said, is that a Decades? And he goes, yeah. And I go, what are you drinking? Because now the bells went off in my head. He goes, I'm drinking Wild Turkey Decades. And he basically said, you are too. And so he said, get him a pour of that.
Wow.
And so
That's amazing.
That was the
Well,
first
shit,
time.
now I got to get my Decades down and drink.
But it truthfully is that good. But anyway, that
Are y'all drinking
experience
Decades now?
I never had. I mean, I never tried it. And the bottles here, they went $500-$600 for. It's just a ridiculously stupid price. And I'm not going to do it.
No.
And but it was a great pour to sit and talk and just that memory right there. Yeah. Well, they didn't have it. They didn't have it in there. It was just sitting on the shelf, but there wasn't many pours out of it.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But I'm just
so just to let you know, on the other where Shane is facing,
yeah.
So where his camera's at, that's his pool house.
Yeah.
This is the other side of where he's looking at.
That's true. That's exactly what I look at when I see it.
Hey, just so you know, T-Rob, I've seen that like a dozen other times because the first slammering was right there. Yeah. The first.
There you go, man.
The first slammering.
That's it.
Cool.
Yeah. So
dude, I was blown away when I went up there. I was like,
and I'm going to tell you what, that pour was silky, was viscous, sweet. Certainly didn't seem like it was 104 proof at all. I was pegging it somewhere around 95, 98, maybe.
There we go.
Wow.
When he told me it was 100, I think it's 104, right, Shane?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which do you know which batch you tried? Probably don't, did you?
I don't know that there's multiple batches, is there?
Yeah, there's multiple. It's on the neck.
It's on the neck?
Yeah, the sticker on the neck. It'll say batch 1 or 2.
Batch 1 is mine.
Okay, I got batch 2 then.
I've heard batch 2 sucks, but batch 1's really good.
I believe you're correct. I believe you're right. I think batch 1 is better. I've not had batch 1, so I can't.
I think batch 2 has Dickel in it.
At least a tip.
I can confirm that is not true.
God.
But yeah, Shane, we were chatting about you, but like I said, I talked about that, but you specifically story time and the whole story behind story time and why it got off is because of whiskey and the memories that you create, and it's meant to be shared. And that was the moment that you always talk about.
Yep.
That was it.
100%, man.
And
that was amazing that you were able to pick that up.
But him and his wife are truly good people. And and I know you know who I'm talking about because I know you've sat there right where you are with them. But anyway, talking to them really truthfully was like we've known each other for many, many years. And even though we haven't talked, it was like we never missed a beat.
Right.
Yeah.
Never missed a beat. And Mark was on earlier, and I don't know why, maybe his internet dropped out, but he popped off. But anyway, he was on here earlier and we were chatting too. It's one thing that this community does time and time again is it brings a lot of people together. And then when we do meet up, it's like you've always known each other. But we've never physically, we're in the same room together because of the plague that's been going around. But anyway, it truly was a good time. It was a great experience that I never expected to get. And so I'm grateful for that experience and that time that I got to spend with them. And they're at a show right now. But
well, I'm glad you didn't. You weren't upset that I gave him your information.
No, I said to him,
he's like, "Hey, do you have Anthony's phone number?" I'm like, "Yep." Send it right over. And I'm like, "Ooh, I probably should have asked Anthony first."
No.
Well,
and I said to him,
he gave him his underpants size. That's where it got a little weird.
Yeah. And he said, "Well, how did Shane get that?" And I said, "Well, he told me I can't tell."
Yeah. Well, in Vegas, sometimes, you never know when you might need like an elephant thong,
Right. You got that right.
Hey, look, they let old man Joe here. So that's
there
all
you go. That's right.
That's right. We don't discriminate here in Vegas.
Well, I don't know that they let him there as it took him a while for them to figure out he was there.
Well,
that's true.
From what I heard, actually, I think they were out of elephants and hogs, thongs after they left. Near the shelf.
Hey, when hogs and heifers opened up, he was in front of the row. I mean, they let him right in.
Strip club.
Jokes aside, you were talking earlier, Anthony, about kind of how there's whiskeys that one night you just can't get enough of, and another night you just think, what the hell's wrong with it?
Yep.
And I'm really nervous now because I've forgotten before I poured this that this whiskey is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde for me. There are days I love this, and there are days I think this is garbage. And and there's no rhyme or reason I can figure out. It's just some days I remember like I got this and I said, "Oh, it's garbage." Then I poured it and I was like, "Oh, well,
what happened?
This is lovely." And then I'll pour it again and I'm like, "No, it's garbage."
Well, exactly. We've all had that. I don't think there's anybody that does that. But the only thing I've got to say is Jim must have fell in.
I'm here, yes.
Because he's still asking to use the restroom.
I'm here.
He's there.
I'll be back on camera in a minute. I didn't fall in.
Shaking the tree, boss.
I mean, did you break it off like Simon?
No.
You better have a different shirt on.
I'm not Simon. I don't use pea sticks. Fuck you.
What are your thoughts?
Better get another shirt on.
Every time I go into this, I just can't believe that the minimum whiskey in here is 10 years. I do think it comes off younger to me.
Yeah, I mean, the finish isn't as long as you would think.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that.
The upfront initial approach is just kind of more of a young bourbon. Not like a young bourbon, but like it reminds me a lot of like a Russell's up front, whereas it was just like 6-7 year old bourbon. And then the finish is a little bit older.
See, I didn't pick up the young note. I'll give you guys that. I didn't pick up the young note.
Again, I'm not saying young. I just mean like not decade old bourbon.
No. Totally got that. I figured that's what you were going. Not as the title says. Gotcha.
I do think, I believe Shane's is more 20-year-old than mine is. I think mine's more 10, whereas his is a little more on the 20 side. I do think batch one was a little bit more mature.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I thought it was, like I said, I thought it was a good pour. I really did. And I thought that for being where we were, I thought it was a decent pour because I would say it was at least 1.5 ounces.
Nice.
Yeah. And, it wasn't an ounce because I'm like, you know what? It's kind of a ripoff. But anyhow, like truly, it was a good time. They're great, great people. I do know that they'll be back out here again because they're coming for a show in, I want to say it's May. I could be wrong, but I think it is May. So we're going to make sure that we meet up again when they come
Yeah,
out.
I was sitting there thinking about that. I was like, man, it'd have been nice if I'd had a little heads up. I probably would have reached out to Liquor Lineup and said, trying to get something set up for them to do like a tasting there.
Well, you know what? Yeah, I could have worked that out with no problem.
I know you could have.
I was
timing sucked. So
I met a guy. I met a guy there, and I told the story earlier in the stream. Again, whiskey creating memories.
Yep.
And out of the blue, he just happened to come in and he pointed out a few things. And of course, now you do. Oh, well, you got this, and blah 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 blah. Well, the people behind the counter won't even come out when I'm into that spiel. So anyway, I told him about the Tale of Forest and talked about it and told him the notes. I said how unusual it is, but I said you have to be ready because it's not your typical single malt Scotch, although it does have the notes. But when you have pine needles, when you have eucalyptus in there, when you have juniper berries in there, and it's prevalent as far as on the palate, and then even on the nose, I go, it's something that will throw you because that sweetbread, that maltiness is there. And I said, it is the barley has been dried with botanicals, okay, with a touch of peat. And I said, so there is some smoke to it, but if you are a peated Scotch drinker or you like smoky whiskey, I'm going to tell you, you will have to search for it, particularly on the finish. You might catch just ever so slightly a wisp of, very, very slightly, and you may not get it again for a few more sips. But anyway, well, he goes over, grabs a bottle. He goes, wow, that's interesting. And then he starts opening it up, taking the top off. The manager comes over, puts a couple of Glens down, and it's 9:15, and he's pouring us both a Glen. And he says, well, let's drink it together and experience it. And I said, well, you don't have to twist my arm to have some Scotch at a little after 9. And I said, that don't make you bad. And it isn't that right?
Yep.
Does not make you bad. So, and he was drinking. He goes, wow, everything you said's in there. This is very interesting. Blah, 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 blah. I said, well, wait till it opens up. Get it down past the shoulder. And I says, and I don't want to help you with that right now, but I said, take it home and give it a whirl. So anyway, by the time he left, we were talking about some other bottles, and he left with 4 different bottles there. That we left. But anyway,
you made it worth their while to pop that cork, didn't you?
What's that?
You made it worth their while to pop that cork, didn't you?
Well, he was very happy with it. He took it, and his name popped on me. I could see his face and everything on there. And I'm going to have to check because we're going to exchange some information and meet up again. And I told him because he wanted to try Blue Spot. And I said, I'll bring it right here. I says, well, pick a date and time. I said, I'll bring you some Blue Spot, and you can have 2 damn Glens of it. I don't care. Drink all you want. Try it. Well, that's what it's for.
Yep.
That's exactly what it's for. And I couldn't tell you how many times I had popped in there and people that I know from there said, oh, come here. And, they have their little satchel with them, and they pull up these bottles and, hey, get him a Glen. Put it up on there, and we were tasting whiskeys, but it's something that they had brought. I mean, they got it there, but the Dixon Deadman, the Phoenix, yeah, you can keep that in my book. But I had a nice pour of it. I just didn't think it was.
It didn't live up to the price tag. It's a good bottle.
Not $100. It's not $100 whiskey.
It doesn't live up to the price tag.
It maybe 65.
That's about the cap on that thing.
Yeah. I just don't think it is all of that. I mean, I've tried it. The 16-year-old Seagrass? I think is what it is from bourbon.
Oh yeah,
it comes in the box.
Yeah.
You know what? Again, I had that there. It was good. Someone else had it, and I said, it's good, but I don't think it was the $250
No,
$50 or
$250.
$290 or whatever it was, good. I said, I think the seagrass, the standard for $90, whatever it
Yeah.
was, I said, I
Yeah.
think that's good. But I go,
It is.
it is, but it just wasn't my jam. And I go, I would buy that one way before I'd buy
Oh,
this
yeah.
because I feel the older whiskey didn't do it any justice, in my
No.
opinion. But maybe if I had some time to work through that bottle, I could, grow to appreciate it. And,
Exactly.
but I'm not sure. But anyway, so it wasn't worth it. I have got to experience quite a few different things, which I'm grateful for the different experiences because, you don't have, these people don't have to do this, but because they know me and I've done the same thing, I get these experiences and I've got these stories, hence story time, blah, 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 blah. I'm just saying it's a good time. It's great to get these experiences and I enjoy it. I mean, some days, we got into this discussion. When I was talking to John this afternoon, I go, I don't drink every day. I might go 4, 5 days, 6 days. I don't touch it. I
Right.
have them like now, but for me to go 4 days, 5 days and not having is not unusual.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, it just isn't.
That's
I
right.
mean, are there days where I've had at least one pour every day? Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't, yeah, I have. But that still don't make you bad.
No.
Nope.
No, still doesn't make you bad. But anyway, yeah, John and his wife are great, great people. And it was really a great time. And I'm so glad that the wife was feeling good because she had her infusion on Saturday. So I
Yeah.
wasn't sure how she'd be feeling. And she was
Right.
fine. So, okay, let's go. We went down and I'm glad I did. I Ubered because I'm just not fighting that traffic.
Yeah.
And then, like I said,
Hey, it's
30
not
bucks
worth
a
the
cart,
hassle. Yeah.
it's just not worth it. And then if I want to have
Nope.
2 or 3 pours or more,
That's right.
yeah, who
You got
cares?
taken care of.
It was all taken care of.
All right,
Yeah.
folks, I'm going to hop off because I have work in the morning. So
That's
Okay.
bullshit.
Yeah, well, that's what he says too. But the cat wants to eat.
Here, Donald.
Yeah.
Isn't that right, Donald?
We know that the cat's the one pulling the strings, Donald.
oh yeah, she is.
All right.
She's actually staring at me right now.
He's like, food, and then I want cuddle time.
Yeah,
No touching me. I just
Pretty
want
much.
cuddle.
yeah,
No stroking, just hold.
that's
Yeah.
it. Pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah. Hold my shoulder. That's what you're holding.
Well, cheers, sir. It
All
was
right, guys.
wonderfable having you
Cheers,
here and
Donald.
sharing a dram with you.
All right,
Look
have a good
night,
one.
forward
brother.
to seeing you again.
Yep.
Good
See
night.
ya. Good night.
All right. Good night.
Cheers, Donald.
Whoop.
There we go. I was just moving something around and I ended up booting Jim by accident.
Look, this knows it. This knows it.
Anthony, I got to compliment you on the coordination with the hat and the shirt tonight, man. You're just on point. With
Do you
that.
remember? Do you remember Garanimals?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm old enough that I remember Garanimals very well.
Oh yeah.
Man,
But
I
it
wanted
didn't work
Granimals
out.
so much as a kid, and I didn't get them until I don't know. It was like Christmas one year. I finally got Granimals.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Took a hot minute.
Hot minute. Wow.
Oh, it's funny.
Hot-
Well, Anthony, if you're available early in December, me and the wife may be coming out that way. We're celebrating our 20th anniversary this year, and we got married in Vegas in December, so we may
Oh, you
we may
did?
do a little anniversary trip for our 20th this
Hey.
year.
Yeah, absolutely. Just let me know. I
Will
have
do.
no problem with it. Yeah, we can meet up, have a lunch or a
Yeah,
dinner
man.
or something like that.
Absolutely.
Oh
Yeah.
man, YouTube's being funny on the comment section for the video Mike and I last put up. Burt Ben was talking shit about me, so YouTube kind of hit his comments, and then some guy called RK was talking shit about Mike's shirt, so they hit that comment too.
What?
What?
Nice.
Yeah, I went in there and
Really?
I saw Ben's comment like through like our studio, but I didn't see it on the video, and I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, that's
He's too
odd.
hiding it.
I didn't know the YouTube police do all that.
Yeah, well, I
censoring
think
like
part of it's
you
because
do.
Ben said the word breast in it because it was red breast. He didn't put the space there though, and I think the combination of that and then the other guy used the clown emoji, which I think YouTube just knows is usually somebody talking shit.
Oh.
However, that
Yeah.
said, the guy's making fun of Mike's shirt, and I just responded. He's like, "What the fuck is Mike wearing?" And I was like, "Paint, duh." Because Mike's wearing a shirt way too small for him in the video.
Got it.
Is that on the Red Breast American Oak video?
Yeah. It's weird. A lot of people. We didn't get a lot of comments, which I would have thought more people would have had it and had an opinion because it's a polarizing whiskey. My sisters absolutely loved that thing when I gave it to them at Christmas. They were eating dessert and drinking it, and they're like, "Oh my god, it goes so good with the cake."
Goes so good.
You got it, buddy. That's exactly what this background is. That is the bonnet cord. Well done.
Like,
there you go.
Enjoy. Just stay away from the bourbon I brought because I brought the good bourbon and I brought the Irish I didn't care for. All you.
I'm impressed, guys.
My sister's like, apparently they're doing a tasting over there. We weren't invited to it, and I was like, I just like pulled the red breast out. I was like, here you go.
Don't they know where the good whiskey is?
Well, they weren't here. I was there.
Okay, I got you.
Oh, trust me, I would never let my sisters in my home. Never.
Wow.
I blocked them on Facebook. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
They definitely aren't coming to my home.
That sounds like my daughter.
The difference is I don't want to see their stuff on Facebook, whereas your daughter probably doesn't want you to see her stuff on Facebook.
Exactly. Yeah. When we commented about her,
I think
when they were remodeling their house, and she had a little infant that was crawling around, and they had taken all the covers off the plugs, and we're like, you might want to put some covers on those plugs when you got a child crawling around on the floor.
That's pretty cool, Fast.
And then she blocked me. So,
well, what's funny is, as a kid in the 60s and 70s, you didn't cover nothing.
Oh, no. You went and stuck a fork in there, and you learned. You don't do that anymore.
Got it. I did it with a pair of scissors. I have
a steak knife, or
kids these days don't have access to metal objects. Like it used to be, toys were metal. Now
that's
they're
true.
Oh yeah, everything's plastic. Yeah.
You couldn't hurt yourself with the modern toy.
If I still had those Tonka trucks I had back in the early 70s,
dude, they would be worth so much money.
You wouldn't be
they were all metal. Yeah,
you'd be drinking that bougie shit like Pat.
I would be.
I remember when I was young in the early 70s, we would go to my grandmother's.
Jesus, early 70s.
Early 70s, Shane.
And my uncle had a Tonka crane that was at my grandmother's house. It was in a display box. It was like from the early 60s, yellow and black, and she would not let us touch this crane. And it was like every time we went there, I was like, I want to play with that damn crane. And she would never let anybody touch it. And it was like, I got to where I didn't even want to go over there, because every time I went over there, I was wanting to play with that crane, and she wouldn't let anybody mess with it.
That's right. Especially you.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Because I was going to take that thing outside and start digging with it.
Well, that's what it was for. That's what. But, oh yeah, exactly. So I don't know how I got on this story, but it was either 73 or 74. We're talking about shoveling snow.
That's the year I was born, by the way.
Oh yeah, see.
I was living in Florida then, so we didn't have any snows.
But you could see me on this pile of snow.
Yeah.
And then you realized how tall it was, because my grandparents had a detached 2-car garage, and I was almost level with the peak of the garage standing on this thing.
Yeah.
It was this huge snow.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was just from shoveling the snow from the driveway and everything else. And whatever. And
I do remember there was a blizzard. Was it 77 or 78 that hit the Midwest?
78.
I remember that.
the gym, 78.
I remember the tunnels that my dad dug from the house to the garage, and we would go play in the tunnels.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
I had a buddy of mine. He was in the Air Force back in the 80s, and he got sent to somewhere out in Wyoming. And
Why not?
yeah, and he had a picture of his house. He went. They had a big snowstorm, and the wind was blowing on. He opened his front door, and there was like 2 feet of snow in the backyard. He went to the back of the house and opened the door, and the snow drift was all the way to the roof. You know, he couldn't even get out of the back door.
Oh,
you know?
fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like you picked up your cell phone and called over to the base and said, "Hey, look, I'm going to be late."
No, let's go to the door. Well, I'm not going to work today.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I love those little like meme photos of these people that get these snow drifts, and it's like their front door open, and then they got like a 12-pack of beer stuck in the snow that's in the door frame because it snows all
Yeah.
through the door. So you're like, well, fuck, we're just going to use it as a freezer.
Hey, that's what I do when I go up to Maggie Valley, man. We rent this house with a deck, and there's about 2 or 3 foot of snow. I just stick the beer in the snow, man. Don't even take it in the house.
Yeah. It's always, it doesn't freeze the beer.
Nope.
It doesn't
Oh,
freeze
if
the
it's
beer.
real beer won't freeze. If you got some Bud Light, you better be a little nervous.
Yeah, it'll get slushy. It'll get
Hey, it's
slushy.
good when it's
That
slushy,
thing
man.
might blow up, man. You gotta be careful.
But yeah, no, I've done that many times. You know, growing up in Pennsylvania, like I did. So
There you go.
I did a lot of shoveling as a kid because there were no snow blowers. Well, there were, but as long as I was around, I was a snow blower. Yeah, my dad's like, "I don't need it. I have you."
Oh, I thought that was a slang term for those Canadian women that go down to Florida every year.
Well, hey,
Oh, those are snowbirds. I'm sorry.
yeah, it's the same thing. Same thing.
Wow, that's a very different experience if there's a snowbird versus a snowblower. Man. Let me tell you.
That's right.
Also, there's about 40 years difference in age.
At least.
And about 30 less teeth.
There you go. Oh, God.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, if there's less teeth, that's an advantage.
Especially the front, you know.
Oh, my God.
Mm-hmm. My.
Is this live
All right,
wire?
guys, I'm going to check them out. I enjoyed it, man.
All right, there, Mr. T. Rob.
Hey,
It's
enjoyed it,
always
man.
great.
Hey, again, Anthony,
Yes,
thank you
man.
for the Bunnahabhain sample. That was good, man. I enjoyed it.
Well, that starts you on your journey. Now you
There
know.
we go. I appreciate it. Hey, good night,
You're
everybody.
welcome, man.
Thank you,
We'll
brother.
catch you
Thank
later.
you,
All
Rob.
right. Good night.
Cheers. Well, I'm going to get myself one last pour for the night. I started to do it, and then we got off on a different tangent. But I'm going to pour that Bunnahabhain.
Nice.
I am not.
That's what I'm going to pour a little bit
Which
of.
Boona?
The 12, the Boona
Nice.
12.
Oh, just
I like
standard.
it. Oh, very nice.
Yep, I'm trying to look. Man, that thing's just
I'm drinking a blend of Old Carter American and Stag 12.
Okay.
Stag 12. Wow.
Cheers, Jake. See you around.
I was shocked the other day. I poured 6 of the Lucky 7 proprietors and then a Stag Junior and just kind of mixed them up. And let me tell you, that Stag Junior jumped out as the young whiskey in that group.
Yeah,
It
oh,
was
for sure it
obvious.
does.
And you know, those Stags are like 9 years old. They're not young. 8,
Nope.
9.
No, that extra few years, though, on those Bartons, man, makes a big difference.
Yeah. Well, I did. There was one Barton I had that actually had a very cherry profile that was similar to the Stag Junior in a bad way, like not in a good way. But that was kind of when I realized, you know what? If I just stop thinking of this as a proprietor and I just think of this as a bourbon, it's still good bourbon. These Lucky 7s don't do any wrongs.
Trust, Red.
Have you guys seen the new Dovetail from Barrel that's hazmat?
Mm-mm.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard about it.
Got one local to us. They want like $500 for that thing, and that's SRP for that damn.
No.
What?
It's like four $4.70 or something.
Is it in a gray box or a gold box for that price?
Gold.
Okay.
Gold.
I tell you what, I honestly just won't buy anything that company puts out anymore.
Is it a 24 karat gold box?
It's hey, we'll take everything you got, gold box.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Hey
gold
Shane,
box
have you
is
seen
label.
have you seen that Hirsch cognac finish?
Yeah.
Have you tried it? Do you know anything about it?
I haven't tried it. I'd love to try it, especially as a point of reference.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll be honest,
7.5 year
since,
bourbon with a 30-year-old cognac finish.
This one has become my cognac standard. That Friday at Fred's. It's just that's kind of my measurement because that to me is like the perfect marriage of cognac and bourbon.
Well, I mean, they're using like a legitimate hightail. I saw dovetail and just read said that. They're using a legitimate high-end cognac. I mean, they're not just any cognac. It was a 30-year-old cognac.
Yep.
That they used for that. So I'm interested.
I love that. I love to check it out.
Just over where I was willing to spend for what it like to gamble. $200.
Yeah, because it's like what 120, something like that.
Oh, you mean proof?
No. The price.
Oh, 205.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's too much.
It's four-gate pricing. I mean, it's 7.5-year-old. It's their own distillate. It's 7.5-year-old bourbon, and then I don't know how long they put it in there.
That's just too much, man. Dude, I had people bitching about this Jepson because they're like, man, we can find this Jepson in Chicago for $45. Okay, well, you can, but that's like 2 years old, number one. Number two, these are single barrels because they were all shitty because the price on this one was, I had it at like $70. And I'm like, look, by the time I drive up there 14 fucking hours and pick up all those cases and then drive them all the way back and then put stickers on them and everything else, that fucking shit costs money, people. And then you think about what these 4-gates charging for the same type of shit, like 3 times the price. So you're like, okay, really? You're pissed at me for charging 70 and they're charging 200 for the same fucking thing?
I will say this. That Chiron that 4-gate put out, which was like 7-year-old bourbon with cognac. I don't know what magic they did with that thing, but that was a fucking good bottle.
Have you had this yet?
No, I haven't had that.
I'm telling you right now, I will put this against any cognac finish on the market.
Yeah. Well, what made the 4-gate so good? It was like it's like they did some kind of charring with the cognac too, which gave it gave it this extra depth. I was blown away, and I'm a fan of 4-gate in general, but that's one of the few 4-gates that's really like, whoa, okay, they did something special here.
Yeah, no, and I'm not shitting on 4-gate at all because I mean they pay premium prices for those barrels that they finish in, and
they're getting premium barrels, and they're paying premium prices to get their pick of the bourbons too. I mean, that's
right.
Well, I know both 4-gate and Old Carter pay more than anybody else for the barrels of bourbon.
Old Carter does not. Mark Carter does. He is known as one of the most stingy, shrewd bourbon purchasers on the market.
Even with that said, I know for a fact he does pay a premium for right of first barrels. Like he gives. Now he may have worked out a good deal where he gets a better price. Part of his deal was he gets first pick, and he paid a premium for that.
Well, there may have been in some cases. I can tell you, the biggest barrel broker does not like working with him because he's such a price beater. He really.
My understanding is he at least early on he paid a hefty premium at MGP to go pick barrels in the warehouse. I don't know if he still does, but I know at one point he gave them a premium and said, "Hey, look, I want my pick of barrels," and they said, "Well, if you want like that, it's going to cost you."
Maybe.
I heard this. Who's that? Oh, who are those guys in Ohio that are doing stuff in those like weird like sphere bottles? Like it's a sphere with a little neck coming up, like Westward or something.
Westland?
Not Westland. Like they're bourbon guys. They have like a 12, a 14, a 15, a 16. They got an 8. They're Ohio, and they're doing mostly Kentucky. They're mostly Dickel.
Well, you should know. It's your fucking backyard.
I quit buying their shit because it sucks.
Wake up, Jim.
I'm awake.
But the funny thing was, so I actually ran into the husband and wife who own that company at Party Source one day. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, I ran into the husband and wife, and we were talking for just a minute. And he's telling me like, yeah, he goes, we pay a hell of an extra lot of money to make sure we get the barrels we want. And I'm thinking to myself, and you took those Dickel barrels for the 14? I'm like,
I mean, well, you think about that. So did Mark Carter. He went and bought. A lot of people got suckered into buying those 15 and 16-year-old Dickel barrels.
Well, but the Carters actually made, like, I actually liked batch 2 Dickel, like the batch 2 bourbon with Dickel.
I don't disagree. If I was going to drink anything with Dickel, it would be that, because they did it better than anybody.
They did a good job. But so that tasted to me like they had their pick of the barrels and found some barrels that, kind of worked for them. The one those guys got.
Here's what's kind of fucked up.
Year was shit.
So there's some barrels sitting up in Chicago right now of OZ Tyler. And a year ago, I tasted them. And they were like, I don't know. I don't know how these are going to turn out. 7 months ago, I tasted them. Holy shit. They really started to come on.
Huh.
So it is kind of like they might be getting some barrels at the time that are kind of shitty. But I'll tell you, a couple seasons of expression will change a barrel dramatically.
Well, if you know what you're doing, you can tell if a barrel's going to go the right direction in a lot of ways. Now, that said, most people can't taste what barrels are going to go that way. But I know, like, if you listen to Nancy Fraley and some of those people, like, they know how to, like, actually, go in and lab test the whiskey and, like, be able to figure out, like, the level of, like, tannins and oak particles and things that have gotten in there. Mm-hmm. They can actually, like, kind of basically figure out from that if a barrel needs to keep aging or not. Like, they've gotten that scientific with it.
Yeah, there's like about 7 elements that they can't put their finger on yet that are variables that are still just random.
Oh, I'm sure there's randomness, but
yeah.
But if you're buying 50 barrels and you do the analysis, well, the blend of the 50 is going to work out. Yeah, there might be some elements that could vary and veer off here and there.
Right.
I mean, again, it's as we all know, in life, the bigger the numbers, the more accurate.
It's a game of percentages.
Yeah. And you might have one that just becomes some heaven on earth, like pick. All right, cool. But
5% of 50 gallons versus 5% of 5,000 gallons. It's a lot less.
True.
So it has a much different effect. But yeah, so that's why, like, the world of single barrels will always be this kind of magical trip, because you're always going to have these barrels that nothing else hits like that barrel, because it just and again, that was kind of the whole premise behind the Twins pick that we did, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here was 2 barrels, same juice, same distillation date, same mash bill, aged a few feet apart, and they're night and day different.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the magic of it. I mean, I've known stores that would they'd get 2 Knob Creek barrels that sat next to each other, and it wasn't about the taste per se. For them, they wanted to do a tasting where they could just show people how different those 2 barrels were. And then, they thought that was just such a cool thing they could do. I'm sure they tasted just to make sure they weren't getting 2 shitty ones, and it's a cool thing that, distilleries get to do.
Yo, what's up?
Jim, you will be the first person I've seen fall asleep on 2 separate streams.
I'm awake.
I'm awake.
He's awake. He was contemplating his next sip.
Nah, I still got some Port Charles. This is probably going to be my last pour. I'm not going to pour anything else after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
I've got a lot of work I didn't get done on Friday that has to get done today. So
there you go.
Unfortunately, I might actually have to work hard this week again. I tell you what, the start of the year, I swear, I've got a pretty easy gig for the most part, but man, the first few weeks of the year, I mean, it's just miserable. And then I've been trying to get back to working out in the gym for the last 3 weeks. And the combination of having to work 12-hour days and hitting the gym is really crushing.
Hey, look, Shane's been working out. He walks from the house to the pool right there. See?
Yeah, I see it.
I mean, that's right. You see him lifting that Glen?
I tell you what, I got a hell of a workout.
3 ounces in.
I got a hell of a
That's right.
workout Friday because I was one of those dumbasses who waited in line to try to get a Pappy Van Winkle or a BTAC.
Dude, I just couldn't do it. Like, I mean, fortunately, I'm friends with my local liquor store guy, and he just called me up and said, "Hey, I got your WLW." Otherwise, I wouldn't. The thought or the idea that I'm going to get in line at 4 or 5 in the morning,
Redonkulous.
I'm just not doing it.
Redonkulous. Yeah, I mean, I
All of a
was
sudden
up.
I go, wait a minute, this is whiskey. What am I doing?
Well, it just happened that I woke up at like 2:30 in the morning on a Saturday because I went to bed very early because I collapsed at like 6 o'clock. Man, I was dead. So got up, went to the gym, got done with the gym, and I said, you know what? Fuck it. It's 4:30. I'm gonna go there and maybe. So the whole thing was you get a wristband, 1,500 wristbands. They're gonna draw. Turned out they had about 200 bottles for the lottery, so it was actually pretty good odds. And I was thinking, they might do a barrel pick release or something cool today just to go along with this. So maybe I'll get something fun out of this. They didn't do that. However, they did do. They had pours of all the whiskeys. So I did get to try the George T. Stagg, the WLW, and I got to try the Parker's double because I've had so much Pappy over the years. The only reason I would try a Pappy is just to make sure this year's whichever year isn't over oaked if I could buy it, And truth be told, I was going to get a Pappy 15 or I was going to get the WLW. Those are the two I was after. And otherwise, I don't even know.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, this year's WLW, wow.
Yeah, it's really good.
This year's George T. Stagg, just solid Stagg. I don't think it's special. I've heard a lot of people hyping it up. I think it's just they're hyping it up because the last two Staggs were not very good. This one was don't get me wrong, it's a great whiskey, but it's not a great George T. Stagg.
Yeah.
Yeah, that WLW is pretty damn special.
This year's WLW is probably the most bright, fruity, and like inviting and like weeded WLW I've ever had. Like it just has all of like the stuff you like about a weeder, like just blowing up in your mouth. Just incredible, like sweet wheat spice. I'm really impressed with it. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I've never owned a BTAC, and I guess another year I won't own one.
Well, there was where was I looking? I think it was on Instagram. Anyway, a guy did a post of some antique collection, and he said what was not odd, but he said was kind of, to him, he goes, if you don't have anything nice to say, basically don't say it at all. But the people that that have the comments to make, but of course you're going to get that when you post certain things on there. But he was like, if you don't like it, who cares? Or if you don't like the price, who cares? Because somebody does and somebody wants it, and if that's what they want and that's what they want to spend, it's their money. We may think they're foolish for spending, let's just say, $2,000 on a bottle of Pappy. But to them, that's their wheelhouse. That's what they want. And that's what they want to spend their money on. And they buy it. They go,
but I think
who are you?
We have an obligation at the same time to tell people, like, how good is this relative to what it usually is? Because
true,
some Pappies are not as good as others.
And the older ones, that is very true.
And I mean, I can tell you, I had two different Lot Bs one night a couple years ago, and they couldn't have been more different. One of them was flat and boring, and the other one was actually kind of nice.
Yeah.
And people need to know that there
are good and bad. There are good and bad, and unfortunately, that's very prevalent in Pappy. Without a doubt. Of course, it's prevalent in anything.
I was going to say the antique collection. The George T. Staggs vary so much year to year.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Just like this year's George T. Stagg does not have the classic George T. Stagg cherry notes. Yeah, exactly. Well, like you said, though, with the twins, you have two barrels almost side by side, but it's just one was to the right, one was to the left. And it was night and day difference.
I mean, and the difference has to be the wood. Because that's the really only variable there that wasn't common.
I mean, the thing is, Shane, I've had 2 bourbon barrels that sat 5 feet apart, and they tasted different. They were the exact same wood, and they tasted nothing alike.
It physically can't be the exact same wood. It could even be from the same tree, but it could be a different radius from the center of the heart.
No, you're right. You're right. But I mean,
that's what I'm
sometimes
saying, like that's the variable that you cannot put your finger on.
Yeah, the rings of the tree.
And
you're right.
And today, the distillers are going to the cooperages and they're physically walking patches of trees and talking to these people and saying, this is what we're looking for. This is what we want. And they're hand selecting trees now for barrels, but for particular batches of their product, because just what Shane was saying, they're trying to get it down to an exact, I'd say exact science, but just like Shane said, it could be, but you have, let's just say 2 barrels made from the same tree, does not mean it will be the same. Nope.
Not at all. You are
not at all. So how do you divide that tree up so you have equal segments?
You'd have to split it. You literally have to divide the staves up.
Yeah.
Half the staves go in one barrel, half go in the other. I mean, that's the only way.
But you know what I'm saying.
Even then.
Yep. Go ahead,
You
Shane.
have a variable there that is somewhat out of control.
You cannot control. Exactly.
Yep. To me, that's the beauty of this. And I'm not going to know for 4 or 5 years, at a minimum, 4 or 5 years.
But we got to remember, though, George T. Stagg is a batch product. They generally release between 10 and 30,000 bottles, a lot of barrels. They should be able to blend to a profile if you have enough barrels. And that's showing you just how much variance happens when you start dealing with 15-plus-year-old bourbon.
Yep.
Like, I'll tell you, this was fun. So Mike and I were doing a review of a bottle that a friend of ours gave us, just like the heel of. So it wasn't something we knew very well. And so we're sitting there drinking, and I looked at Mike, and I said, dude, there is no possible way this could be a single barrel. You just couldn't do these flavors. And my head's about to blow because it's an independent bottle. I'm assuming it's a single barrel. And I'm just like, there's no way. And we went and looked at the bottle again, and it said batch. And I'm like, this isn't a single barrel. Okay. I feel better now because I was just sitting there going, how did they get these such distinct notes? You just can't get a barrel that does that. It tasted like nutmeg, first fill and second fill sherry. Like, I'm just like, where are these flavors coming from? And I was like, oh, they batched it. Okay, I feel better now.
Well, this certainly was a good pour to end the night, this Bunnahabhain. I'm enjoying the sweetness. I'm enjoying the pears, the fruitiness, the honey on this with that slight bit of smoke. To me, it's enjoyable.
Log 12.
Look what he's pulling out. Look at the paper on that sucker.
He's got toilet paper with it. It's a toilet paper bottle. What do we got?
It's a toilet paper bottle.
That's how you know it's good.
Yeah, because if you have an urgency, you got your paper right there.
That's right.
Is that the WLW?
I'm just going to do a splash.
Just a taste. Just a taste. That's right.
Is that the WLW?
That is the WLW.
No. I'm telling you. So, so somebody actually gave me their pour of WLW while I was at the place. Like, I guess he had to go do something. He just hands it to me. He goes, "Hey, you want that?" And I'm like, "Yes, I do."
Yes, please.
Because I think I paid $63 for an ounce of the George T. Stagg and an ounce of that Parker's. I tell you what, man, it's funny. Jason and I, when we disagree on a whiskey, we disagree a lot. And I was like shocked at his negative review of that Parker's. I thought that thing was incredible. I absolutely love that Parker's double.
I haven't got into that Parker's yet from this year. I've heard a lot of good things, so I'm excited. Greg McDonald has one.
I know 2 people I got 2 possible sources to get one. I actually just found out a really good friend of mine is now actually the driver for Heaven Hill Products.
Nice.
And in Kentucky, not in Ohio.
accidentally have the door slide open while he drives by.
I don't think he's going to give up the job because that's a pretty. It pays pretty well for a very easy job for him, but
Yeah.
he definitely can tell me where he's dropping off the bottles before he gets there.
I can tell that
literally
must
be
smell
at the store
terrible.
when he gets there.
It's awful. Don't
Yeah.
buy. If you see this bottle, do not buy
Just
it.
leave it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could tell.
Like it's funny actually. So I ran it. So believe it or not, this is the first time somebody who's not part of this community in terms of like I see talking recognized me at an event. Like I was literally talking to this guy, and this guy walks by and goes, "Top shelf bourbon," and I'm like, "I'll take it."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What's up?" And this dude was like, we're talking. He's like, "Oh my god, I love you guys. Like, I watch you before I buy stuff all the time." And I'm like, "That doesn't sound right." And he goes, "I'm such a big fan of Springbank." And I'm like, "That sounds right."
Wait a minute.
Oh, you actually do watch us.
Yes. So you know that I'm a fan of that particular distillery. Yes.
Yeah, we were talking, and then like so he actually got a bottle of the Parkers at Costco for $160.
Oh.
And he was like, he goes, I'd be willing to trade that if you got something for me. And I'm like, this is very difficult because that's a $600 secondary bottle, and scotches that are worth stupid money or generally actually cost stupid money to buy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do I have that I could actually trade you that'd be a fair trade? And then
is there something that you needed? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I was like, I can hook you up with that Hazelburn you were saying you missed out on, but I'm like, that's really not a fair trade because secondary on that's $300 and the secondary on yours is $600. But we paid the same price for it.
Mm-hmm.
But
well,
then
if it's something that you want or whatever, and you're willing to give it up, and he's willing to take it.
Yeah. Yeah, and then but then my buddy walks in and we started talking. He goes, "Oh, the funny thing is, I know a Kroger that still has that bottle. They just for some reason haven't put it out yet." And I was like, "Really?
Really?
I'll find out when that's going to be available because I'd be more than happy to pay $230 for it."
Yeah, more than happy. Matter of fact, I will drive over there right now if they just want to hand it to me right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, I will pay it. All right,
yeah,
stop
that
it. Stop it.
Stunner, man.
No, I'm just looking at the proof. So it's 124.7.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Which I think is that perfect proof for that particular bottle.
Dude,
it makes it so drinkable.
It hits so good. Front, mid, finish.
Yeah. Like I've had WLWs that were hazmat level, and I mean, while that was a fun experience and it blew up in your mouth, like you couldn't really appreciate the sweet, like Weller profile, and getting water to bring it to the right proof was kind of hard.
Mm-hmm.
That thing is just ready to drink and give you all the Weller goodness right there instantly.
All the goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very delicious.
I was disappointed in the George T. Stagg just because so many people had hyped it up as this year's being like one of the best, and it's not. I'm sorry, it's not.
Well, dude, even Fred Minnick kind of waffled around on it.
Well, the thing is, I heard somebody say, the only person I've heard not loving it was Fred Minnick, and I was like, man, I'm telling you, it's a good bourbon, but it's not. It's missing like three things that you want. It doesn't have the cherry. It's a little dry. It's too drying.
Yep.
Both from alcohol and wood, and there's just something else. Like it's missing something else. I can't even put my finger on. I only had an ounce, so I couldn't quite figure it out. And then I tried that WLW, and I went, "Oh my god, I'm not having a bad tasting day. This just isn't that good." That WLW is just like, praise Jesus. How do I get a bottle?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Yeah, his number one was the WLW. His number two was the crazy hazmat Coy Hill. The 150 proof.
Oh.
And then number three was his GTS.
That is a crazy proof on that Coy Hill.
The Fitz 19, which I got to tell you, that Fitz 19 is pretty fucking fantastic.
I had a chance they had the Fitz 19 at that tasting, but they wanted a lot for that pour, and I passed.
Dude,
they wanted nearly 50 for an ounce, and I was just like,
what's weird is it has reminiscence of a Dusty. Like it's got that kind of funkness to it that you're like, oh.
I've been hearing from a lot of people the 17 was better than the 19. I've heard that from a bunch of people.
I would totally disagree. The 19 has way more going on, especially in the finish department, than the 17. 17 ends very quick. 19 hangs on.
Yeah, well, yeah, I haven't had either. So I can get a pour of the 19, and my buddy, who's the Heaven Hill driver, shockingly somehow got a 17.
That's not surprising.
He apparently he had a pour of it somewhere, and then all of a sudden,
Greg McDonald has the 17, and I have the 19. I need to blind him.
I'll tell you this, Mike.
Are you talking Greg or are you talking the whiskeys?
Donald.
Because I say just take his glasses.
Yeah. I just keep when he comes. So he's on a keto diet, and when he came over this Friday for our little live stream, he kind of went a little ham on the carbohydrates. So I'm just like, it's not necessarily a bad thing because he's always said his whiskey's my whiskey, and my whiskey's his whiskey. So if whoever goes first, the other person gets all that the other person's whiskey. So
I can tell you this much: when I've done keto and drank whiskey, I taste different, and I get really drunk fast.
Oh yeah, because you don't have any of those lipids really, like the carb lipids to kind of help.
It's not even the lipids so much as like your body is so flat. You're holding less water in your muscles and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You've got less salt being held in your system. Like it goes through you faster. And so what whiskey does is it opens up your blood vessels. It makes your blood move faster, which also then flushes out the salts. And like it just makes your whole body becomes really efficient at taking the alcohol in and out. And the problem is that means it hits you real fast.
It will. That's for sure, without a doubt.
What's really crazy is if you ever look into like how your body converts alcohol to energy, and if you were to and you do it without fat and carbs in your system, your body literally can't convert alcohol into energy. It's crazy. Like it can't store it as fat, basically. Like it can convert the energy.
Night, Jim.
Essentially, your mitochondria just like burns it off. Like anything you're not using immediately just goes away. It's crazy.
Thank goodness.
So if you want to actually fast for a day and then drink whiskey, you will not get fat. You can drink all the whiskey you want. You'll probably
no carbs.
You'll be hating yourself the next day because you won't be able to like stand up. But
hey, it's all right. It's all right, without a doubt.
Yeah. One of the many reasons why I look back and I regret not doing biochemistry in college, because that shit gets really cool when you start really getting into some of that stuff.
Well, I'm all out of whiskey.
Well, I'm gonna end the
You
live
got a full
stream.
bottle right there, Shane. Just keep pouring.
Oh
no, it's empty.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I know better.
I will gladly come over and lick your empty bottle.
Okay.
So hold up there, you two. But I just want to say cheers to everybody in chat and appreciate everybody that's on. It was a great.
I'll put a splash in for the final cheers.
And
twist your arm.
Yeah. Really looking forward to seeing you guys next week. And you all have a good night. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
We'll see you next week.